There's war going on in this world. A war on freedom.
He's acting outside of his authority by saying you can't put something that you want in your own body. That's your own personal choice, and can't nobody take that from you, you know?
You're one of these taxpayers, and these are all your documents, and this is how we're going to rob you. It's fucked up, man.
It's more war, it's more spending, it's more debt, and it's less freedom.
We don't do that here.
Some people think that you can't be radical and pragmatic.
This is what we need, is a pragmatic radicalism, not moderation. Hardcore radicalism, but smart shit.
It's not sitting in a fucking basement with a bunch of fucking nerds.
You don't know shit, and that's the thing. You have to talk to people who think differently than you.
Like, his focus is not how horrible the government is, it's how wonderful liberty and freedom are.
That's what drives us.
People are coming together more and more and more and more as the government has been failing us.
We're just getting started.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fight Club episode 4. Today's my birthday, so we're doing a very interesting show. We're going to have a whole bunch of my favorite people from all over the Liberty movement kind of hopping in and out. We're going to be raising money for Tom Queter. We're going to be talking about how people have been fighting for liberty over the last year, and we're going to drink, we're going to smoke a lot of weed, and we're going to have a great time. So we'll be answering questions that are in the comments. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of different stuff. So stay tuned, like the video, share it, tell all your friends to come watch. It's going to be a good time. Real quick, before I introduce people, we're going to talk about sponsors. Nugg of Knowledge is the best place that you can get legal cannabis in all 50 states, some Delta-8, some CBD, some CBG. They've got all your favorite things. They have like CBD honey, which I actually just got this past week for my dad. It's going to be great. He's going to try CBD for the first time with this honey. So excited about that. Check out Nugg of Knowledge. It's a great place to get weed. However, tonight I will not be smoking that. I will be smoking weed that came from Tom Queter because he's a really awesome New York State Senate candidate who may or may not have lost a bunch of weed plants in a boating accident. But before that happened, he gave me some of it. And so that's what I'll be smoking tonight. It's going to be a good time. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm going to bring up some super dope people here one by one. First of all, we have Justin O'Donnell. What's going on, sir?
What's going on? Did you just maybe implicate a candidate for state office in a federal crime?
No, I wouldn't do that. I implicated a candidate in a boating accident. That is
all the time.
But speaking of candidates and winning people and electeds and other things, Joel Getz is here, an elected libertarian from Pennsylvania.
It's a myth.
Just to let everyone know, David only had to give me 11 shots to get me to come onto his show, so we are in the clear.
All right. And with that, we've got my good friend, Mr. Ben Heckman.
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for having me.
Welcome. Man, that sound quality is better since last time you were on. That microphone.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's my parents' Wi-Fi, so.
Well, that's true. So far, in the words of Winograd, my potato has been operating fairly good. 4 minutes in and no technical difficulties. We're off to a good start. Guys, what was your favorite part about 2021? This was a fucking crazy year, so tell me about it.
NFT summer?
No.
Did you say NFT summer?
I made so much money because people are stupid. like straight up, like, I don't want to call people out. I did a podcast with Gary Vee to talk about NFTs, and like even during the episode, Gary Vee's like, yeah, a lot of these projects are really stupid and people are going to lose a lot of money on them. They shouldn't be wasting money on stupid projects. And because people heard that I was having him on, some like stupid NFT project sponsored the stream and they gave me 2 free NFTs. They gave me 4. They wanted me to give away 2 on the stream. Like, all right, I fucking did a raffle and gave away 2 of them on the stream. And the price of them jumped to like 10 grand a pop. I'm just like, fucking sell those other ones. Just because Gary Vee was on a stream with them, all of his nutcase followers are like, they must be worth thousands of dollars. And then, like, a couple weeks later, I made a meme. I took a vaccine card and filled it out with John Galt's information and said never. And I minted it as an NFT, and it sold for 10 Ethereum.
10 Ethereum.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Nice. I would say my favorite part of the year was just seeing the Liberty movement grow like exponentially more than I've ever seen it before since like I got involved in any of this shit. I mean,
just before or after it started cannibalizing itself?
During,
right in the midst. Yeah.
That's the crazy part, though. We've been cannibalizing ourselves and still growing at an exponential rate.
It only looks like we're cannibalizing ourselves if you live on the social media platforms. I think honestly, I don't think it's as bad in reality.
Yeah.
I know you do. I know.
Yeah.
I do too. We all do. Maybe Joel a little bit less, but
well, as someone who runs a state's social media accounts, I can assure you, it is my favorite part has been just getting shit on by people, just relentlessly for everything I post. I love it because I don't give a shit. But then I see Justin's tweets and I see what he gets, and I'm like, all right, I guess it's not that fucking bad. Yeah.
Yeah, have you considered just shitting on the people that are trying to shit on you?
Well, you see, my issue is that generally the people who shit on me are, I don't know if I can say this word, but they're fucking retarded. So, like, it really doesn't matter. Like, it's like talking to a wall. So I just let them tire themselves out. And let them embarrass themselves.
This is fair. For the record, there's very few words you can't say on my show. I didn't invite Nick Ashley onto this episode because the N-word is off limits, but the rest of the words are mostly fine.
Wait, neighbor?
No, Nick Ashley.
Narcolepsy. Which I don't understand what we're talking about.
Nicholas with a hard R.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if I say it with an A, David? Is that okay? I'm about to ruin my entire political career tonight. That's what I want to do. I want to get kicked out of this fucking party.
Trust me, it's a lot harder than it seems. Unless you're in Massachusetts.
When I run for EVC, I'm requesting formally that everyone who goes to our convention nota me out of the party. I don't want to do this anymore. Please.
Understandable.
Just nota
That can be arranged.
I know, I'm begging for it, but no, the way my luck goes, I will beg to be kicked out of this party, and they'll make me fucking chair.
I mean,
I'd vote for you.
No, God, please don't. I don't want it. I want to leave. I want to be
That's
done.
That's why I would vote for you, because the people that don't want it are the ones that should be in it.
Yeah, New Hampshire's got its best chair in a long time right now, and it's somebody who's like only got there because the previous chair who wanted to be chair got kicked out of the party.
Oh, I should mention that I am the official chair of LP Delaware.
All right.
Who is your chair at this point, O'Donnell?
Nolan Pelletier.
Okay, I thought so, but I wasn't 100% sure of that, and I didn't want to be like, yeah, Nolan's a good guy, and then be wrong.
and it's great because like now we have a chair who goes and gets arrested at school committee meetings.
I love LP New Hampshire's Twitter because, like, whenever somebody gets mad at the LPPA, I just point at New Hampshire and go, "Hey, look at those fucking guys! Go yell at them. They're saying cool stuff. Yell at them instead of me."
Dude, I'll get like a random message from Shoe on Head like in the middle of the week. She's like, "Fucking fix this," with just a link to a New Hampshire tweet. I'm like, I don't run that anymore.
They say so much
this.
that I wish I could say half. I got in trouble. I think I told David this story. I got in trouble because we tweeted, "Don't tell us what to do, Fed boy," at Joe Biden. Apparently that was too edgy, and I was I don't know what I'm fucking doing anymore.
I had a Twitter bot that I wrote, and it just finally got suspended. Twitter finally nuked the account, but it was going for like 3 months, and it was named Adolf Hitler. I somehow managed to get the @Adolf Hitler, and all I set it to do was it responded to every single Joe Biden tweet with, "Hey, that was my idea."
That's brilliant.
Nice. But like,
This is why we're friends.
It went for like 3.5 months, and Twitter finally nuked it for racist and hateful imagery because the profile picture was Adolf Hitler.
Yeah. Okay.
That took 3.5 months. Meanwhile, if you say like, "Hey, we don't know what the vaccines do. It takes like 2 hours and you're fucking gone.
I gotta push back a little bit there. I've actually tweeted a lot of like skeptical shit about the vaccine. I like straight up like, if you have the vaccine, you can still get the virus. And after that article came out that said that they were going to ban people for saying that, and I'm fine.
That's because you're the realist libertarian, apparently.
No, it's because he's a
Meanwhile, I called Marianne Williamson a cunt and got a 12-hour within 30 seconds of hitting post.
I wonder why.
I'm riding on a 29-hour live stream ban from, or 29-day ban from live streaming to Facebook. So this stream is not on Facebook right now.
What'd you do?
I posted. Okay, so this was the meme. The meme. It was like the clip from Christmas Vacation, right? And it's like it's the kid being like, "Dad, do we really have to hang all these Christmas lights?" And it's the dad being like, "Well, Rusty, just like Jeffrey Epstein, these lights aren't going to hang themselves."
God.
From like early November. So this is a month and a half old post minimum. Like 7 weeks old. And that's what caught me a 29-day ban.
You know what I'm shocked I didn't get in trouble for this week? Like I tweeted a joke. It was a real off-color, like edgy fucking joke, and it was like mildly offensive, and I'm like, this is gonna piss off exactly the right people, and I'm probably gonna catch a 12-hour for this, for like hating on women or some shit. Like the tappy bots and the lizard people are definitely gonna report me for this. I tweeted, and I saw it on TikTok. Somebody had sent it to me on TikTok. It was just, when you go and adopt a new dog at the shelter, everyone thinks you're a hero. But if you go to the women's shelter for a new girl, everyone gets upset. And I'm like, it's funny as shit. I'm like, I expected to catch like a 12-hour or 24-hour ban from fucking Twitter for it, for pissing off libertarians, because I did this in the middle of the whole 12 drinks debacle and the debate on whether or not women have agency. And no, it wasn't libertarians that got mad at me. I got spam and hate spammed from tens of thousands of people, because apparently the B-list comedian who wrote that joke 10 years ago got offended that I had more followers than him, and that my tweeting of his joke got more reach than him.
That doesn't even surprise me. That's the sad part.
Like, I had never heard of this guy at all. And then finally, like, Adam Nutter. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? He's like, oh, he's a great comedian. And I'm like, he's mad that I apparently stole this joke from him. He's like, that's way too funny to be one of his jokes.
As a fellow Pennsylvanian, I should point out that Adam Nutter is not a real libertarian.
Well, he was a cop.
That makes sense. I think he might still be undercover.
I brought my Christian conservative dad to the second day of the Mises Bash in Pittsburgh, and Adam Nutter was opening with his stand-up, and it was really fucking vulgar. And it was just, I like brought my dad, and like he was like, you know, he has like the typical view of libertarians that they're like all libertines and stuff, and I'm like, don't worry, like Jeff Deist is going to be here. He's like your type. You're gonna like him. And then Adam Nutter, it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but.
The most vulgar stand-up comedian I've ever seen was at a USO fundraiser. Back when I was on like terminal duty for the Army, I was working at a supply depot in Massachusetts, and like I'd gotten on real good terms with the general in charge of the base, because me and him were the only two people in there who smoked. And so he would just come down like every half hour. He's like, O'Donnell, union break, and we'd go have a fucking cigarette. And then one day he just comes down to supply warehouse. He's like, hey, O'Donnell, do you want some tickets to a country show tonight? The USO just dropped them off. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll fucking go to a country concert. Why not? He's like, cool, I'll put your name on him. He said, just go pick him up at Will Call. I'm like, sweet. And he texts me the address, and I grab this girl, Mackenzie, I was seeing, and we drive up there. And like, I'm wearing like a t-shirt and jeans, and she's wearing like a flannel and jeans, because we thought we're going to a country concert outside of Boston. Nah, we get there, it's the Boston Opera House. I'm like, oh, fuck us. We're like, everyone's in tuxedos and fucking dress uniforms. And I go to Will Call. Yep, they got our tickets. We look at the face value of the tickets that were donated, and they were $1,200 each. We're like, well, fuck us. It was a country concert insofar as like the band Perry was playing. But like the opening act was Sarah Silverman, followed by a speech by Michelle Obama. And Like,
Oh.
yeah. So like, and like, we're in the lobby, like, what the fuck? And then just clap on my shoulder. I learn on to the general. He's just wearing jeans and a flannel. I was like, yeah, I got mixed up too. He's like, but there's an open bar. Let's go crush that. We're sitting up there, and Sarah Silverman's opening for Michelle Obama, and she comes out, and the first words out of her mouth, she's like, "This is a real fancy crowd. A lot of people dressed up. I hope you don't mind if I spend the next 20 minutes talking about my cunt." And then she just did a 20-minute set of vagina jokes.
Yeah. Sounds about right. Sarah Silverman opening for Michelle Obama is like the worst sentence I've heard all day.
That
Jill
sounds like the
Biden
start
was
of a
there
bad
too.
joke.
Oh God.
Oof.
Yeah, I felt so out of place. I was so underdressed.
Why in Boston? Why are these people in Boston?
It was some USO fundraiser where in Boston's a place where they can sell $1,200 tickets and people will pay for them.
Apparently,
people have $1,200 in Boston.
Yeah, the people who are the reason.
If you had money, you moved out of Boston.
No, do you know what rent is in Boston?
A McDonald's cheeseburger. Yeah.
God, the fucking row houses near the Common, they go for like $6,000 a month. And they're like 2 bedrooms.
I got a question about this event. You said there was an open bar. How many shots did you give your date that night?
Well, I don't know, because she ended up having to drive home because I had about 12.
12. Wow, that's a very specific number. Did you that's very strange, but I think you should report that.
Did you consent to anything later?
I consented to everything.
I think we're going to need to start a Twitter hashtag.
That's like super rape.
Yeah, we're going to have to help Justin O'Donnell out. I think he got assaulted or something.
We'll start the GoFundMe. We'll link
Here's the thing. It's like
description.
the whole fucking 12 drinks thing actually started to piss me off when it was going on. Because like, in what world did you not consent to drink 12 drinks? And if you're gonna say you don't know what fucking drinking does to you, you're either 15 or retarded. And in those two cases, there's a strong case to be made for rape.
That's a good save.
But like, if you're not 15 or fucking retarded, you know what alcohol does to you. And if somebody's not like sitting there, you're tied to a chair and they're fucking pouring drinks in a funnel. It wasn't them got you fucked up. You drank the drinks, and you're responsible if you get behind the wheel and fucking kill somebody. Why aren't you responsible if you decide to get laid?
I had a good friend of mine who was a woman who said, look, whether I have 2 shots or 100 shots, if I go home with you and my bra matches my panties and I shaved, I consented when I left my fucking house.
Right.
And I was like, God damn, that's a way to look at it right there.
I mean, I can't argue with that logic. Although I'm surprised by both parts of the beginning of that sentence. You have a good friend and she's a woman. I don't believe either of those.
No, but that's a goddamn litmus test right there. That's something men should take note of. Like, if fucking that should be your go-to. Like, keep it in your back pocket and remember, it's like, if she didn't shave, she wasn't planning on this before she got drunk. She might regret it and try and claim you raped her afterwards.
If she matches when you get back, you didn't choose her.
Yeah,
okay? Yeah,
you know,
she chose you, bro. Like.
All right, so we are 18 minutes
canceled.
into this great birthday fundraiser event.
Happy birthday, by the way, David. I didn't say that yet.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, guys. I rang in the birthday coming down from a mushroom trip, listening to Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. So, you know,
Dude,
it started out great.
I woke up this morning hungover as shit, and I opened my phone to this Snapchat of David like, did I decide to go into my birthday tripping on mushrooms? Yes, I did.
Possibly.
That's what he said.
You know what I like to do on my birthday is I like to go to tomfor52.com and donate a bunch of money. That's what I like to do. That's TOMFOR52.com.
Yes.
That's one of my all-time favorite things to do also. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're just going to cut Joel's face off for that.
That's gonna get you more viewers.
Did you get set up to take cryptocurrency yet?
It's a great question. I don't believe so. Currently, we'll get there.
Whoever's
I
in
can
charge
only
of
do so much.
fundraising.
Yeah. Yeah, their fundraising director is a real piece of shit. So,
social media too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, their social media director's a slack off and a drunk, but that's okay. The candidate is great. The candidate himself is fantastic. So guys, Tom for 52, TOMFOR52.com. That is the website to go to. There's also a link in the description to this video if you are watching it on YouTube. If you're not watching it on YouTube, go to YouTube and find this because it's just going to be a better stream that way. All right. And we have our next guest for this wonderful sausage fest thus far.
Better not be the cop.
No, not the cop.
No, I gotta tell the cop how I gotta tell the cop how Jesus is a myth.
Oh Jesus!
Well, this guest isn't gonna disagree with you on that one, Mr. Coverdale. How's it going, sir?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm 12 shots in across state line.
Have you been listening? Because we've been talking about that for the last like 5 or 6 minutes.
Which one, the cross state lines or the 12 shots?
12 shots.
12 shots.
Everyone who comes into this show needs to mention that they did so after taking 12 shots.
Yeah.
So if you're over state lines, does it cancel out the 12 shots in and make you responsible suddenly, or how does that work?
It's a mystery.
What if you're underage?
Underage, cross state lines, 12 shot. Man, this is getting confusing. We need like some. I know we're all autistic because we're all libertarians, but we need like ACE on here or something to describe to us how this works. So.
I think there's some theory that could be devised from that scenario for sure.
Probably. By the way, get your naturalist capitalist merch at toplobster.com. It'll be, I don't know what % off, but we're going to have a sale on January 6th. So
Nice. I'll pick one up.
This is great. I'm on here like exclusively with people who like just get attacked on Twitter, and I always look to your accounts when I feel bad. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, yeah.
Like, how do they do it?
Your game.
Yeah, I'm starting to get banned from things, so I feel like I'm finally living up to some sort of potential.
I mean, you want to get banned from YouTube? We can make that happen real quick. Let's
Yeah. There's so many
any
things
of the
like
other Tower Gang guys in here.
I feel like he's already gonna get banned. I mean, we've just spent like a good 10 minutes talking about consent and shit. Like, we're well on our way.
Okay,
Yeah, someone already said like retard and cunt. So
what if you get the cops unleashed on you while you're over state lines, underage, 12 shots in
your homeless?
In a public park.
In a public park. There we go.
Wait, what if you're 12 shots deep and the cops get unleashed on you, but you get noted? Does that count?
Wait, did you get doxxed before or after that?
Well, that's a tough question to answer, you know. Yes.
No,
yes,
the most important question you're all
But the
forgetting.
edgelords made me do it.
How big was the gazebo?
That's true. Getting the gazebo.
You know, I'm kind of upset that like I was too fucked up at Porkfest to follow through because like I decided to not do.
I can confirm that
sobriety.
Justin was fucked up at Porkfest. I went to say hi to him because I hadn't met him in person before, and he was just like, "Hey, Reed." That was like all I got out of him. So I was like, "All right, nice to meet you, Justin."
Yeah.
Did you take advantage of him?
Well, he was. I don't know if he was quite 12 shots in, and I didn't technically know how old he was. So I just wanted to be careful.
But like, we never got a gazebo group picture.
Dude, we need to invite Ryocarditis or whatever his name is, even though he's a fucking cunt, and have him take a picture with him.
Y'all should have him on Tower Gang.
That sounds like the worst episode ever.
Dude, he accused us of being a literal gang. It was the most honoring accusation I've ever received. Like, you guys are a literal gang. It was like, wow, impressive.
You need a gang sign or something.
Yeah, well, I think this is like I asked the other guys, what should our gang sign be? And one guy said this. I was like, no, that's way too straight. And so we're just like, okay, this is our gang sign now.
That's fitting. It's quite fitting.
It is.
Oh my gosh.
I want to be on the show, and I want to call it like Tower Gang gets 12 shots deep with Joel Getz.
There we go.
That should just be a show in and of itself. Getting 12 shots deep with insert person.
You mean
just
the January
12
6th
shots.
insurrection special?
Is that going to be a thing? Because that Twitter thread, I'm excited.
No, here's the thing. Like, I tweeted that out, not expecting any traction. Like, as I started work for the day, and then when I got lunch, I opened Twitter. I'm like, how the fuck do I have 900 notifications?
Yo, you tagged the wrong people to think you weren't going to get traction.
I mean, I tagged
some of the most self-obsessed people that love the idea of them getting to talk on other people's shows.
All of them have jobs.
Yeah, and they all slack off at their jobs to fuck around on Twitter, myself included.
So, Justin, are we doing a January 6th live stream? I
so.
think it's fitting.
I think it's going to be incredible. It's going to be super fun. Probably going to get my YouTube channel nuked, but we'll see.
Oh
man.
Oh my
David Jacob said he'd be here in 15 minutes, and I think the reason why sounds very dirty taken out of context.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'm gonna say. I think I should just say it anyway, because who cares?
Yeah, just read that text while
Yeah.
I'm ready to welcome our next guest.
Yeah, Jacob Winograd's going to be here in 15 minutes, but his pregnant wife needs her cravings satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
Which, the good news is we know she's not 12 shots deep because she's pregnant.
At least we can hope.
12 shots
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, was Communion Sunday this last Sunday? Because, I don't know.
Jesus.
I don't believe in
guys.
fairy tales.
Exactly,
so I don't know.
David. Exactly. Jesus. Yeah.
All right, so next joining this absolutely glorious shit show of a show, Olivia Rondon.
Oh, boy,
hello.
we got two anti-Semites on the same stream. This is bad.
Have you disavowed us yet?
Happy birthday, David.
Thank you.
Olivia, how many shots have you had tonight?
What did you say?
How many shots in are you right now?
I'm not drinking, I'm smoking.
Oh,
that's my
wait. Ooh, that's an interesting question. Does that change things, though, guys? I mean,
12 joints in, 12 grams in.
12 12 joints in.
12 edibles in.
If she can still function 12 joints in, that's wifey material, right?
I can't.
Yeah, I couldn't. Like,
I can't. But let me tell y'all something. When I was at Magnus's and the Damn Wars rally in DC, this lady who was like an anarchist or communist or some shit, she gave me like 10 edibles, and I took them all at the end of the Damn Wars protest on 9/11. So I was like high as fuck, and I faced it. I was cool. So maybe I am wifey, honestly.
Wow.
And each edible was 10, or I think it added up to like 100. So I was like, well, I was gonna die for a second. I had to keep marching. We were like marching to the White House, and I was like, bro, I'm so fucking high right now.
All right.
Well, yeah, you're getting this video removed. We already talked about January 6th, and we just heard marching to the White House. You know, there's going to be all sorts of shit going down.
Yeah.
well,
Justin
so my goal
talking.
here was to get as many bigots on one stream as possible.
Oh, really? Because I got some contacts for you if you want to get me the worst.
Yeah,
Where's Ryan Dawson?
Yeah, I was just about to say, said Ryan.
He's
the
not
last-
even the worst one.
From everything I've heard, we can just call all of LP New Hampshire.
Hey, we're not that bad.
I didn't say it. I'm just saying, this is what people
I'm
told me. I
mutuals
don't.
with Richard Spencer. I'll just DM him the link.
Oh, there we go.
Are you serious about that?
He's followed me for like 3 years, like since before he
Wow.
even blew up. Yes.
Proof. Hey, he's getting better.
We've talked.
It's because he saw one of Olivia's pictures where she looks white. That was doesn't seem like
And then like later he realized I was black, and he's like, "Yo, what the fuck?"
Olivia's got straightening iron privilege.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. I think I'm having the worst member of your state party on the show next week.
Okay.
So if that doesn't get the show canceled.
Oh, he's nothing. He's not that bad.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to figure out who's actually the worst.
Kaufman.
Kaufman. I'm
Because
talking
Nick
about
Sarwark
Kaufman.
is still a member.
Ooh. So I invited him onto the show way back when it first started, before I had his wife on, and got told no, and haven't followed up, or got told like not yet, or not now, or like not until after his term was up. That was his thing. He wanted to wait until he wasn't chair anymore, and I was like, that's fair. No, not ever. I would have Valerie back on the show in a heartbeat, though.
Maybe if Nick has 12 shots.
We've seen Nick 12 shots in. All he does is stumble around and brag about his dick.
So Nick Sarwark becomes Donald Trump 12 shots in, is what you're saying.
I don't think it takes that many shots for him to get like Donald Trump.
No, Nick thinks he's the
Take that shit
libertarian.
off there. No, I'm literally gonna sue you for slander. This is libel.
Meanwhile, the candidates like website is just scrolling across the bottom. We are still raising money for Tom Queter during this shit show, guys.
I'm making an NFT about him right now.
That's a thing. I still don't get NFTs. Nobody
does.
No,
it's just free money on the internet.
I was about to say, I still don't know what an NFT is. Like, I haven't bothered to look into it yet. I've heard it many times, but I still don't know what it is.
It's a non-fuckable token.
Whatever. I'm gonna screenshot it and have it for free. So joke's on y'all.
That's why I use GIFs.
Can you not save it?
I can screen record it. Bitch.
Hey, by the way, Ghislaine Maxwell found guilty on 5 charges.
You're welcome, everybody. This is because I mentioned it on Kennedy. You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say it, but I think it's all going as planned anyway. So.
Yeah, you're right.
I honestly hadn't heard that at all.
She fell on a sword so Clinton wouldn't have to.
Man.
I think Clinton fell on Epstein's sword a couple of times.
So I got a question. Could Trump find the goodness in himself and just be the guy that blows the whistle on everything, brings the ship down with him? Do you think Trump has that in himself? Could he be like, you know what? This is a disaster and I'm part of it, but you're all going down. Glenn Dubin, Les Wexner, everybody, and just take the whole thing down? Or do you think he doesn't have that amount of character within himself?
I don't think Donald Trump has done a single thing with intention in the past 6 years. I think I firmly believe that Donald Trump said, I'm gonna run for president. And somebody's like, why? He's like, it'll help me get a book deal and they'll renew my TV show. Just people will remember who I am. And then he won. He's like, I did not expect this to happen. And then he stumbled through 4 years of not knowing how to be president.
See, all we got to do is convince him that everybody will love him if he exposes everybody connected to Epstein, Maxwell, Mossad, the mega group, just like, come on, Trump, just tell us all the names and we'll love you. And we just got to convince him, and he'll be in his little goldfish moment of going back and forth oh, okay, this is a great idea. And then he'll do it. And then,
Reed, who's the mega group?
Oh man. So the mega group is this group of Zionist billionaires who write papers and legislation and articles supporting Israel. And Les Wexner, the chief financier for Epstein, is one of the head billionaires of that group. He bought all of Epstein's properties and sold them to him for $1. The Wexner Foundation is a think tank that pushes a bunch of Israel first propaganda. So.
All right.
It's true.
I was expecting a half-assed anti-Semitic joke, not an actual answer.
Let's turn up the anti-Semitism in here.
Right.
Let's turn it up. Stop. Someone's gonna clip that. I got this DM.
I'm going to, definitely.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I got this DM a week ago, and it was some girl that I'm in a group chat with, because every Liberty girl on Twitter is in this big group chat. And she fucking sent me this screenshot from another group chat full of these kind of Gen Z GOP YAF kids here in DC, and I know them all because I'm in DC, and we have the same circles, and they were in there calling me a raging anti-Semite. And at first, I only saw the first screenshot where they didn't say why, so they were just like, "Oh, Olivia's a raging anti-Semite. We don't like her." Blah 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 blah. I was like, first of all, I let y'all smoke my weed, so now that's cut off. But secondly, I was like, oh my god, one of me and Reed's conversations got leaked. That was my first reaction to them calling me a raging anti-Semite, and then I just realized it was because I tweeted on 9/11 Google dancing Israelis, and that's why they were saying it. But I just thought it was gonna be a lot worse because of my conversations with Reed.
Wait, you thought I would leak one of our private messages? Because that
was just my first reaction, because I was like, how are these people calling me a raging anti-Semite? The only person I'm an anti-Semite with is Reed. Like, what the fuck is going on? And then I was like, oh, okay.
The only
doesn't take much
anti-Semite with is Reed.
It doesn't take much to be deemed an anti-Semite. You just have to vote against the Iron Dome funding.
That's literally it. They were just sending my tweets in the chat of every time I've criticized like Iron Dome funding or whatever, and I was like, whatever.
Or tell Meghan McCain she's a cunt.
That's all him. I don't even come after Meghan McCain. Like,
I've never called her a cunt, but
I did.
Oh,
I just laugh at the fact that her father's dead. I feel like that's way less offensive.
I personally think that's taking it too far.
She blocked me for saying, I think the exact words were like, I'd shared like Reed's meme, and she commented and her crying on the casket.
Oh, perfect.
And she responded to me. She's like, "This is inappropriate." And I'm like, "What's inappropriate is not liquidating your father's estates to pay for his war crimes."
Oh my god,
that's legendary.
Yeah, and she just instant blocked me. I'm like, what the fuck?
So how did Marianne Williamson block me on my new account? Because I just told her to shut the fuck up. I told her that plus a lot other stuff on my old account, and she never blocked me. But she
probably just finally realized that she was sick of that shit.
Yeah,
she's doing a book signing at a little like coffee shop down the street from me.
Oh, definitely go.
My brother sent me a gift card to the coffee shop for Christmas, so I have an excuse to go. Like, it's gonna be hilarious. I'm gonna try and live stream the whole thing.
I approve of this. I don't know.
Ask her, why are you not having me and Reed on your podcast anymore? This is. I don't know.
Yeah. You shouldn't have invited Reed onto that show. You were fine until you invited Reed on.
Well, dude, I was like,
I didn't even do that publicly. I fucking messaged Reed and said, "Do you want to ambush Marianne Williamson?" And then Reed just went rogue with it and scared her away.
I don't think I even tagged her. I just said, I'll be going on Justin O'Donnell. I tagged Justin O'Donnell, but I was just like, I'll be going on Justin O'Donnell's show with Marianne Williamson. And I did not tag Marianne Williamson. And then she just comments underneath it.
Canceled.
Yeah, canceled. I was like, what? Like,
that is so funny.
You haven't interacted with me for 3 weeks, and I've been doing nothing but shitting on you. But then I just... Ooh.
Okay, stop satisfying your pregnant wife and get your ass on the show.
Where's Pete?
Oh my god.
Pete is canceled.
Pete was canceled from my circle 6 months ago.
Well, hey, Pete and Nick Sarwark were agreeing on stuff the other day. I thought that was pretty incredible.
I've literally been looking at Liberty Twitter, and it's just like been upside down recently. I don't know what the fuck's going on. At all.
By the way, I'm going to own up to this, and I have no... So I am someone who's more vicious privately to people I don't like than publicly. Like, I will send people direct messages and directly confront them before I blast them publicly so I don't feel bad about it. But I told Pete this. I am sorry for bringing Stacy into the Liberty movement because that's mostly my fault, because she used to be a Tulsi supporter.
I remember.
I had her on my show like last November, got her excited about the Libertarian Party, and I'm actually the reason she ran into Pete too. So I accept full responsibility. I accept full responsibility for bringing that crazy maniac to the Liberty movement.
Done. You're canceled.
God damn it.
That's
You're
like
canceled.
the second
All right, Gulag
story I've ever heard.
You just cancel.
That is the second worst matchmaking story in the Libertarian Party I've ever heard. The worst is still when Jess Mears introduced Daryl and Jackie.
Oh no.
Who is that?
Is that on Jess?
It's this year at Porkfest. I was sitting having lunch with Jess and one of my friends, Matt from Keene. He'd never met her before, and he's sitting there complimenting her dress, and she's like, "You're so nice. All the Free Staters usually hate me." He's like, "Why would they hate you?" I'm like, "Oh, she introduced Daryl and Jackie," and he's like, "Fuck you. Why would you do that? I had to live with that psychotic bitch. You ruined my life."
Who are Daryl and Jackie? I know Jess, but who are Daryl and Jackie?
So
Daryl Perry and his psychotic wife who wants to collect all of her hairs.
Have you
Oh,
Harry's the toaster guy.
I did see
Yeah.
that. I just didn't know their names. I'm really
Daryl is the toast in my own damn toaster guy from the 2016 debate. I don't know if you've seen that clip.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yes, the
So,
guy
yeah,
who was
so
against driver's licenses.
toaster guy and collecting hair chick are married.
Oh,
and
that is so appropriate. Why doesn't everybody know that? That is so awesome. Oh my god.
I didn't know that Jess was responsible for that.
Now
she
I have some words for
introduced
Jess
them,
now.
and then LP Virginia threw a going away party for Jackie after she moved.
Ouch. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna play the GIF correctly, if it's just gonna do an overlay, but I'm gonna try to pull up the NFT. It does.
Hey.
I made an
Nice.
NFT.
All right, screenshot. Everybody screenshot it.
All right, guys, you can get that NFT on OpenSea. The link is either below the video on Twitter or in the comments on YouTube. And I'm gonna figure out an easier way to get that. But go check it out. It's beautiful. Did you guys see that? See how beautiful it is? It's lots of colors, and then it's that guy's ugly ass face. It's great.
What the fuck?
You're the worst campaign volunteer ever.
I am actually. Hey, I can never do worse than I did for him on his last campaign. I was literally his volunteer coordinator for like a month and a half and did 0 things because the campaign was barely functional. And then I moved, and then I started working for a different campaign, like paid, like in-person work. And then I just kind of like vanished from the campaign. It was basically the equivalent of like no call, no showing, but to a remote job over a very long period of time.
You know what just occurred to me? Speaking of the Daryl and Jackie thing, remember like a couple weeks ago when Tom Woods made that post telling Daryl to get control of his woman?
I missed that.
No.
I wonder if Pete liked it.
Well, go find out. You can look through it.
No, because Pete has me blocked. I can't see anything he does.
Yo, Pete blocked me like 2 weeks ago, like long before any of this shit actually hit the fan. It was kind of funny.
He had me blocked on his old account and on his new account, and I've never interacted with him. I think I actually used to follow him on his old account, and he blocked me, but I never commented anything, and then he blocked me.
Well, that's because you're an intelligent, attractive female, and you intimidate him.
I never did shit to him. I've never talked shit about him, but now I will because now he's canceled. Everybody else doesn't like him too. So
Yeah, I mean, maybe people shouldn't have defended his single moms to Gitmo comment 6 months ago and just like
Wait,
dropped him
what?
there.
What comment?
I can't believe that was 6 months ago.
What did Caitlyn say to him to trigger him?
I don't even fucking remember at this point.
Is it just her existence and having green hair and not being culturally conservative enough for the post-libertarians?
No, I need to know what happened now.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they were getting into it on like policy and theory.
See, that sounds boring.
Such as life on the Liberty Twitter. It's crazy how like things like that will always get escalated. Like there was like 3 things that happened that got me canceled. It was me going after Pete, me going after Dave Casey / Lou Rockwell, and me going on the Fakertarians podcast. And all 3 of those things were ridiculously petty in their origin, and then blew up into whatever
Dude,
the fuck.
I didn't even get canceled for insulting Ron Paul.
People tried to cancel you for that, though.
That's because
They
you're
tried
verified.
hard.
You can't get canceled if you're verified.
Yeah, but anybody can get verified. It's not like it's hard.
Well, it's hard now.
This to get verified because they denied me.
Go tell your local LP affiliate you want to run for Congress. They'll put you on the ballot because they're desperate and have no one else, and then you'll just get a blue check mark.
I'm not old enough to run for Congress, I don't think, am I?
25?
No, I'm not 25.
Challenge that constitutionally.
Okay. That'll give me a blue check.
There should be a
run for
libertarian
State House.
candidate that does something like that, though. Like runs like a little bit like under the age you're supposed to.
Well, I made a pitch
Hashtag Chrissy and Caitlin 2024.
I had a pitch that we should run no presidential candidate one year. We should just petition on slates of electors in every single state, because there is absolutely nothing in the Constitution that says a person is supposed to be on the ballot for president. It's supposed to be a slate of electors. And when you vote for a person for president, you're not actually voting for that person. You're voting for a group of people who have promised to vote for them in the presidential election. So, like, I thought it'd be fun to try and challenge and force, like, California to print 42 libertarian names on the ballot and say, these are the electors.
Yeah, that sounds intriguing. I just think we need more people that used to be in the Republican Party to run as libertarians on like a very moderate, like fiscally conservative, socially liberal message, and I think then we'll be great.
Shit, I'll do it. My turn 25.
Olivia for
I love
president.
that
Should
was
be too
a
high to
joke.
function.
You know, honestly, if more people in Congress just smoked more weed and just like treated their life the way that I treat mine, we would definitely live in a much better world because nothing would get done. They would start writing a bill and then like lose interest in it halfway through and then start writing a different bill and then no bills would ever get finished. It'd be great.
I had a donor to my last campaign who wrote a very substantially sized check on the promise. I had to promise them that on the off chance I won the election, I would promise to never speak publicly in the Senate while not under the influence of LSD.
That's an amazing campaign promise. Did you make that like public that you had made that campaign promise?
No, I shook his hand and said, that just sounds like a good time. And he wrote a check.
That sounds kind of horrifying, but that sounds fun.
Weak.
You'd be tripping on acid like all the time, right?
I mean, define all the time.
I don't know.
I mean, I started off this show by implicating a candidate in a federal crime. Let's continue the theme. And Justin, how often do you do LSD?
LSD you shouldn't do more than monthly. There's like safety parameters. Like mushrooms you can do like 3 days a week. You can do mushrooms like 3 days a week, no problem. Like
what?
You might need serious you might need serious therapy and have mental health issues on the other end of it. But like you'll still get the effect. The problem with acid is the diminishing returns. Mm-hmm. And like if you don't take time off, you have to do like successively larger amounts of acid to get the same effect. So like if you try and do acid every day for a week, like by 7 days in to get the same effect that $10 worth of acid had on Monday, on Sunday, you're going to need to do like $300 worth of acid. It's like cocaine, except in cocaine, you measure that in minutes instead of days.
Yeah. I feel like 2 weeks is, for in my experience, like just enough to be fine. But a month is better.
I found that like every 4 to 5 months.
Well, that's because you're a pussy, Ben.
And no, like
I am what I eat, David.
I do.
No, you didn't say you're a dick. You said you're a pussy. Come on.
I do break my own rules, like during Pork Fest, because that's a special time of year.
Oh yeah, you should be doing drugs like 7 days straight. The Christian is here as we're talking about drugs and pussy.
All right, everyone, stop fucking cursing.
Fuck.
God damn it.
I curse way too much for a Christian podcaster.
Jesus Christ, Jacob, get it together.
No, you should listen to Dirty Rotten Church, kids.
I was talking to Reed about this earlier. It's like I love how I get a lot of people who are mad at me because I'm like too Christian, but then I also get a lot of people who are mad at me because I'm not a good enough Christian. So I'm right in that sweet spot.
I'm mad at you for both. So
good.
Yep.
Oh, look at David. Wow.
Why did that happen?
He's the star of the show, everybody.
Oh, I haven't said happy birthday yet, David. Happy birthday.
Oh yeah, happy birthday to my favorite homeless person in the libertarian movement.
I'm about to unleash the cops on you.
I will provide shelter for you in my basement when the cops are unleashed.
You are the cops.
That's true.
We just unleashed the cops on this show.
I'm not
Yeah,
used
no,
to that yet.
I didn't know you were a cop. I thought being a Christian was reason enough to not like you. Like that might actually be worse though. You're a cop?
I'm an elected constable. I mean, so
what the fuck is that?
It's so there's like two positions in law enforcement that are like elected positions. There's constable and sheriff. Sheriff actually has power. Constable is basically like you're the bitch of the entire law enforcement department, and you like just do things they tell you to do. Or you can just take the position and say, fuck you, I'm not doing anything, which is basically what I've chosen to do.
So I've got this, after Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted, I put out a list of everyone else who should be convicted. I said Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Glenn Dubin, Les Wexner, Prince Andrew, Ehud Barak, Bill Richardson, Alan Dershowitz, Bill Gates, and many others. And then this fucking person with TDS, where's the comment? But the first person I named was Donald Trump, and this person just commented. I can't find the comment right now, but underneath it, they just said,
"What about Trump?"
What about Trump? It's like, it's the first name I mentioned.
God.
That's some extreme TDS right there.
Dude, I put out a tweet that said, like, the literal first line of the tweet was like, Ghislaine Maxwell being found guilty is great and all, but, like, what about everyone else? And, like, somebody retweeted it with, like, why are people defending Ghislaine Maxwell?
People are stupid.
So people don't know what sacrificial lamb means. They think that means somebody who's innocent who dies for the cause. That's not what it means. It just means someone you sacrifice to save a greater, like, to save more people or whatever, or to, like, keep a cause going. So I called her a sacrificial lamb, and people are thinking I'm saying she's innocent. I'm like, no, that's not what it fucking means. But
I mean, in a Christian sense, sacrificial lamb means that, but I mean, I'm being pedantic now.
Jihadi.
Yeah, it might just be like your least favorite lamb.
It says someone or something that is deliberately sacrificed to promote a cause or for the benefit of others.
Did this motherfucker just go Webster on us?
Yep.
I know, but like the idea of a lamb is that
shit.
it's innocent. Like when you sacrifice a lamb, it's like, I don't know. That's the
Right,
imagery.
but nobody sacrifices their biggest lamb.
Well, in the Bible, if you didn't sacrifice your best, God smited you. So,
right.
Yeah,
Some people are taking it too far.
I've been challenging that guy to smite me for 32 years, and I'm still kicking. And like, part of me is like, half the time, like, fucking do it. This is some bullshit. Like, fucking 2020. Are you fucking serious?
yeah,
Just
but
smite me.
but see, you seem like the person that like would you want it too much, and so God's punishing you in the best way possible by not giving it to you.
That makes no sense at all.
Yeah, it does. The biggest punishment that God could give is just to let us keep continuing to live in this reality.
I didn't consent to being born.
Well,
I was 12 shots deep.
I did. I didn't consent to having my foreskin cut.
No, but God told you you had to.
anti-Semitic.
Yeah, that is pretty anti-Semitic.
I can't be
Wow.
anti-Semitic. My name is Jacob, which later turns to Israel.
Wow.
Did you just mic drop?
He did.
Didn't Jacob like go to war and kill a bunch of innocent people just because they didn't worship his God?
No, that was I mean, that was Jacob's descendants for sure, but that wasn't Jacob.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Jacob didn't go to war.
that's several different people who did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Stalin, Hitler, Mao. I'm sorry. Man, so I feel like I had fairly low expectations for the moral quality of this show, and it's actually, I think, significantly exceeded expectations because it's actually not been terrible. Reed hasn't made too many dancing Israeli jokes.
You told us we weren't allowed to use hard R's.
Not when I'm here.
Unless she gives you permission.
She looks kind of black tonight too. Like if she looked white.
But even if she gives you permission, does it only count as like half permission?
Drop me out. I want to be here.
If Olivia rage quits, we're gonna tower her.
But see, I have this, Olivia. I have this black friend, and he told me that I can say it.
Yeah, I got a pass.
It doesn't count if it's Maj.
Damn it.
First of all, Maj would never let a white person say that word. I'm
No,
telling
he
you.
wouldn't.
He'd actually probably fight someone over it. Like,
To be honest, I'm too much of a pussy. Like anytime a black person has actually given me permission, I'm just like, no, it's a trap, and I'm not
I'm
falling
telling
for
you
this.
right now. I've done that multiple times. I'm like, just say it, and then I start yelling.
Have you seen the Family Guy episode where like the news station plays a prank and they tell everyone the world is ending?
Yeah.
And so everyone starts knocking off bucket list items, and Peters walks out the
just
door.
wanna say
And Lois is like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I'm going to say the N word in a predominantly black neighborhood."
And he comes back,
He
he's
walks
like,
like in
"This is their
robes.
king."
It's the king of the blacks. He's like, they respected me for it.
Yeah.
Well, I've never been given
I don't
permission
know. Sometimes
to use the
I
word.
feel like
but-
white people would. It could.
Go ahead.
You never got permission, but you use it anyways, Reed?
No.
Is that what you're gonna say?
I mean, that is also true, but I've never been given permission to use it, but I have been named an honorary Mexican by
No, I think like rap culture.
Okay.
The worst I've seen with it is Logic, the rapper, because like he just drops with hard R's in every song.
Oh my god,
and
he's
like,
from my town.
He's like, it's okay. I'm 1/8 black. I'm like, motherfucker, you look whiter than I do.
Isn't his dad black though?
Yeah, he's
His
half
dad
black.
is quarter black or some shit.
Oh.
Let me correct
Well,
the record.
Logic's
Okay,
black
so I'm from
anyways, so-
Gaithersburg. Logic's from Gaithersburg. I know his family. I'm like friends with one of his like nieces. She wrestles or something, so that's fine.
Listen, I'm Jewish.
Well,
and
I'm saying I just
Jewish people are the real black people. I don't know if you know this.
yeah, whatever. Anyway, so I know his family. His family is mixed, so he just looks really white. Like I feel like what saves me is I have black people hair, but he just kind of has white people hair, so it really doesn't make sense. So he should probably stop. And all of his songs are about being mixed too, so it's like really annoying.
He literally looks whiter than I do, and I look really white. I'm half Irish.
I wonder
You
what
look
Mario
like
Rothbard
a
would have
fucking
to say
terrorist. I'm sorry to say.
I self-identify as a terrorist. It
Like,
takes the
you look
power
like
away from
Al-Qaeda.
it takes the power away from Nick Sarwark calling me a terrorist when I say yes.
Oh, okay.
Are you trans terrorist?
Is that like if I was in high school and someone called me gay and I just started sucking dicks to like, you're right. Like I feel like
Yeah, it's called leaning into the joke.
Is that what happened to you, Justin?
Ben's been leaning into jokes for quite a while now.
Sure.
Yeah, leaning into gay jokes can literally make you gay if you think about it. So,
God, the other night on fucking, I don't even remember who I was talking to, but they
Awesome.
suggested we bring because we're planning. I'm not planning it, but I planted the idea, and now it's happening. There's an open carry rally at the New Hampshire State House on January 6th, and somebody suggested getting a fertilizer truck.
Wait.
I don't get it.
how do you guys not get that?
Come on.
It's his uncancelable tweet that he never
Yeah.
got in trouble for, but got reported over 9,000 times or whatever.
I had over 1,000 comments on the tweet just tagging the FBI Oklahoma City field office.
Nice.
Yeah. But, you know, when I said Timothy McVeigh did nothing wrong.
All right, wait. Hold on, Justin. Who here knows who Timothy McVeigh is and what he did?
Ben?
I feel like we shouldn't say
Not off
it.
the top of my head. I'm sure if I looked him up, it would jog my memory. I know the name.
He's a fellow who was really upset about like Waco and like his friends and family being targeted by the ATF and the ATF murdering people. And so, you know, he parked a fertilizer truck in front of the ATF building in Oklahoma City. And then the next day there was no ATF building in Oklahoma City.
That's one way to put it.
Everyone say goodbye to the Fight for Liberty YouTube channel. Wave
Just,
goodbye.
just
Happy
a
birthday,
wee
dude.
bit of domestic terrorism.
And I maintain that based on the Libertarian Party's definition of the non-aggression principle, he did nothing wrong.
Which
Although you had one caveat though, Justin. You got to explain your caveat.
So the caveat is he should have waited for daycare to get out. But if you actually read the reporting on it, he was informed by an undercover ATF agent that set him up for the whole thing. And the intelligence he was operating on was that there was no daycare in the building and that it was just ATF agents and IRS agents in the building. So his motivations were pure.
That doesn't mean he did nothing wrong, though, right?
I don't think you can kill
This gets us
people.
back into the 12 shots in thing. Like, even if you, I mean, are you absolved of your responsibility?
All right.
Well, no.
So, like, yes or no, should I tweet, what if Timothy McVeigh was 12 shots in?
Do it right now.
Yes. Well, I'll retweet it.
And comment that NFT underneath it.
I disavow this, just so you guys know, I disavow this.
Somebody get Angela McArdle on here.
I already did. What if Muhammad Atta was 12 shots in a week last week or whatever? So
Was he the one that was like not in the plane?
no, that's Ziad Jarrah.
Okay.
Shit, I had something I was gonna say, but total brain fart.
Thanks, Jacob.
So here's my thing with the whole 12 shots thing. Like, what if you're 11 and a half shots in? Like, where in that half shot does consent disappear?
Where's the
I
line?
made that joke. Like, as it was going on, I tweeted, what if she's only 11 shots in? And AJ Olding responded to me. And his immediate response was like, this sounds eerily similar to what if she was only 17 years old? And I'm like, that's the exact argument that people were trying to make this as. Like, what's like people got hung up on 12 shots being the thing, and 11 shots is okay. Then it's like 18's legal, but like, what about 17? What about 16? What about a mature 15-year-old? What about a 15-year-old dating a 17-year-old? And I'm like, this consent argument is about arbitrary like choices being made is the exact same argument wrapped up in a different skin as the age of consent argument about arbitrary numbers rather than personal responsibility.
Hey, at least we got an hour into this stream before the words age of consent came out.
Wait, so did Timothy McVeigh cross state lines? I can't even remember.
I don't think so. Holy shit.
That is going to be my defining.
Of course, the very first person to retweet it was Masha.
Oh, I haven't even found it yet.
Why are you people like this?
Why aren't you?
I would like to know too.
So I've decided that my most used phrase in 2021 / the year of me being 24 is why are you like this? I have said that both out loud and to myself more times than any other phrase, including like fight for liberty or meet people where they are or fiscally conservative and socially liberal. Definitely. The most used phrase of my year is why are you like this?
I think you're just projecting.
Yeah. I fully admitted that both out loud to other people and to myself. I said that from the beginning.
At least you're, honest about it.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
this
like-
going to reflect negatively on Thomas Queter's campaign that he's right under that tweet? Just wondering.
No.
Is David's judgment to be trusted here?
No.
That's an evergreen question. Is David's judgment to be trusted?
You know, one of the first times I met David, it was like not the first time, but like one of the first handful of times I met him. He went and blew up our spot when me and pre-asshole Nick's our work, when Nick was still pretty cool. We're trying to sneak into a Tulsi Gabbard campaign event, and David recognizes us and doesn't say anything to us. But then, like halfway through the event, Tulsi's like, "And the libertarians are here." I'm like, "What the fuck?" And just calls out me and Nick.
So that was not intentional on my part. For the record, I just informed somebody else that you guys were there, someone that would have known to, like, you know, at least put you guys like closer to the front, you know, like just treat you guys nicely as, like, you know, guests of semi honor, right? I was not expecting her to find out about it that quickly, and nor for that shout out to happen, but I'm glad that it did in hindsight, because it's funny as shit.
Yeah. Nick was pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I
like,
don't
the
know
next
why.
day, like WMER on Twitter, it's like Libertarian Party chairman at Tulsi Gabbard campaign event.
Yeah, that was at least the third or fourth time that we had met. We hung out a decent amount there in New Hampshire, and then just like haven't seen you in 2 years.
Yeah, because you skipped Porkfest.
Well, because people don't donate enough money to libertarian things, and so Free Speech Media was very underfunded at the time, and so Porkfest had to get canceled.
Should I go to Porkfest?
Yes.
Somebody offered me a speaking thing at Porkfest, and I was like, I don't want to speak at Porkfest.
You kind of do. Well, did they offer you to speak on the pavilion, or at,
I don't know,
a hub?
Just somebody who is close with the Porkfest organizers was like, "Oh, we want you to talk," and I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to go.
Was it Dennis Pratt?
Olivia, we could do a segment on our greatest ally. Just you and me. Up there.
I think I would just go to get acid, honestly, and just like do drugs. I don't think I would go to talk.
You say you're gonna go to get ass?
That
too. Acid.
Yes.
It's the wrong
But
place to get
also-
ass.
All right,
Acid
so we
and
have a
fat.
question from the comments. What are your political plans for the year 2022? He said this is an open question for anyone.
I'm starting a new job as a legislative coordinator for the Hazlet Action Program in January. So we're going to Alabama to push for constitutional carry for, a month or so. I'll be doing that for the foreseeable future. So that'll be fun.
I'm lobbying for a constitutional amendment in New Hampshire that will require New Hampshire to declare its peaceable separation from the United States.
I am considering moving back to New Hampshire
to help with my constitutional amendment.
The Free State Project is becoming more attractive, and since my whole family lives there and a lot of my friends, I might move back there this coming year. We'll see.
I'm probably gonna shoot my neighbor's dog.
You are a cop. So
What's funny is that I've slowly.
Is it a
been
homeless
hating-
dog or?
No, but it did cross state lines, so therefore it's justified.
Jesus Christ, we could go. Was it 12 shots in?
Now, how many shots?
No, but it'll take him 12 shots to hit it.
I think it's the opposite of that rule. If you haven't killed something by your 12th shot, then you need to quit at that point.
So
You
I
quit
think
while you're
Reed
ahead.
was it you that messaged me the meme? It was just like, is the police officer not guilty if he empties a whole magazine into a black person's back? He was 12 shots in.
No, I ended up tweeting that. I'll try to find a tweet and send it to you. But
Olivia, what are your plans for 2022? Other than disavowing us heavily and never speaking to any of us again.
Doing the 12
that's
shots on Kennedy.
Definitely at the top of the list. I don't know. I don't think I have any like solid plans right now. I'm just like, I don't know. I've been really overwhelmed lately, honestly. It's been hard to even think that far ahead.
I hear that.
Everyone else is doing really cool shit though. Good for y'all.
Yeah.
I'm in Coos Springs.
Maybe I'll come see y'all in New Hampshire and help you secede from the Union. Can you bring New York with you?
No, absolutely not.
When is Pork Fest?
June, right?
End of June.
It's gonna be rough. I'll have like a 1-month-old at that point.
You know.
Get them started early.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so Justin, here was a good one.
Enlighten them at a young age.
My kids are already like way too woke in like the libertarian sense. Like they cause fights at family gatherings.
Dude,
because...
there's an entire sub economy at Porkfest of kids. Like the kids have their own economy at Porkfest.
My oldest, who's 6 right now, like during the probably like I don't know 6 months into the lockdowns in 2020, we went to BJ's and he wanted to go drink some water because he was thirsty, but they had the water fountains covered up with tape. And he was like, "Dad, do they have those covered up because of people afraid of COVID?" I was like, "Yeah." He started yelling at everyone there. He was just like, "Stop being so afraid of a virus." God, I was just like, and everyone's looking at him, and I'm just like, and like people are like, "Are you gonna stop him?" I'm just like, "No, I'm pretty based right now." Let him go.
So if Alec Baldwin had emptied 2 revolvers into Helena Hutchins, technically, I don't think we'd be able to hold him responsible because he'd be 12 shots in.
I'm numb.
Wait, no. The actual thing was if he shot her on his 12th shot at that scene, like if it was 12 takes in.
Ooh. Well, that'd be 12 shoots.
If a cop shoots an unarmed black man 12 times in the back, are we just going to let him off the hook because he was 12 shots in? That's the one Justin was talking about.
Yeah.
Reed, it's so weird to see you in a house and not a truck.
I know. I'm sorry.
Where are you?
Traded places.
My hair is still pretty messed up though.
Get back in your truck.
I'm the one with the green
Look
screen
clean,
background now, and
least.
Reed's just like, whatever. I'm in my house.
That's right.
I like that background though.
Got self-defense here too. So.
Well.
Yo, I got a weapon.
If you pull out mace,
I got mace.
Nice.
Yo,
Hey,
so
this
there
is
was
just
a-
a
I didn't know we
gun.
had 2 women on this stream. Ben.
That's a ghost gun.
No, this is just a desk gun.
And I mean Ben and Reed, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! So there was like a mouse or something in the bathroom at my parents' house here, and so my mom or my dad's idea was to go get my old BB pistol and try to shoot it, but it had like disappeared by the time he got back. So
I'll show
I
you
get
a
up
ghost gun.
to go just like get ready in the morning. I was walking to my bathroom and there's just like a pistol sitting on the bathroom counter, just like amongst all the other things. And I'm just like, when did we move into a trailer park? This is not.
Yes.
Did people just all disappear to go get weapons to show on my live stream? Is this what happened?
so.
Look, my argument for the mace is that it's really good when you're 12 shots in.
Well, the timing of Justin and Jacob coming back in unison there is pretty beautiful.
They coordinated it for sure.
Yeah. They were off
Reed
screen
mentioned-
going like 3, 2.
Reed mentioned a ghost gun, and I was like, no, that's my desk gun. So I was going to go get my ghost gun to show off the ghost gun.
Ooh.
Because it's a
I guess
marvel
it
of
is time
3D
to go
printing.
get our weapons.
Damn it, none of my guns are like within.
Oh wait, I got a fucking weapon
here.
Oh, Lord.
If he comes back with anything other than a katana or a lightsaber, I'm going to be pissed.
I have a lightsaber down here, but I mean,
This is literally like a dick measuring contest. Like, what is
Right.
going on?
Mm-hmm.
I lost this in several boating accidents.
I have a pair of scissors.
God, all right, fuck this. I'm getting something.
Nah, see, a whole other reason to come to New Hampshire is because this is perfectly legal in New Hampshire.
This is my cross. This is my crossbow.
Jesus Christ.
With all the 3D printing technology at our hands, and you chose a crossbow?
Dude, I've had this since like I was 12, 13. That's pre 3D printer.
Well, this is 3D printed. It's really quiet. It shoots really fast and doesn't have serial numbers.
Nice.
Wow.
Is that what I think it is?
Oh, it's the bump grand.
Nice.
The bump grand.
That's the legendary weapon right there. This is a great shot right here. All of us with the weapons up.
If Jacob holds up a fucking Bible, I'm gonna be pissed.
This is my only weapon.
What's funny is that this is not a Bible, but it has a Bible verse on it. And I'm not kidding you. I don't know if I can get this to show up on the camera though.
It's kind of tough. Not gonna lie.
Is it the
Thou shalt not kill?
Yeah. What commandment is that? What commandment? I forget.
I don't think you can see it, but so the off position is peace, the on position is war, and then if I was to drill the third hole and go to the next one, it says Revelation 20. Which I think Reed might be the only one here that gets that if he knows Revelation 20.
Is that
You just called the rest of us uncultured heathens.
No, he called us degenerate heathens.
Degenerate heathens. That's not nice.
I own it.
Guys, follow Jacob at Biblical Anarchy on Twitter and harass him.
Revelation 20 is, then I saw an angel coming down from heaven, holding in his hand the key to a bottomless pit and a great chain. And he seized the dragon, the ancient serpent, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years, and threw him into the pit and shut it and sealed it over him. Like that's I mean, I could keep going, but
that's so metal.
Yeah.
Revelation is awesome.
So the full auto on your rifle is hell?
I mean, it means like for the fucking, like, you know, when shit hits the fan, it's the end times. It's like, yeah. So
Mr. Matthew Butts in the comments approves of that verse.
See, full auto for mine is just holding your trigger finger steady and then just pushing forward to your left.
You better not be using a bump stock, Reed. Those are illegal.
No,
okay?
he's using a belt.
No bump stock.
Full auto on mine is just like the standard firing mode.
I wish I had my my Keltec here. I have a Keltec Sub 2000, which is kind of a gimmick gun, but it's kind of my favorite gun. But I don't have it here to show off.
But do you have a yeet cannon? That's the real question.
I have 2 cats. Yes.
So no, the High Point Yeet Cannon 9, the YC9, is the ultimate display of the internet gone too far. Because High Point's like, we're releasing a new model of handgun. Here's an internet poll to name it, and Yeet Cannon won by like 90%. And instead of saying that's dumb, we're gonna come up with a better name. High Point's just like, yeah, fuck it, it's called the Yeet Cannon.
Olivia looks so unimpressed by the entirety of the last 10 minutes of conversation.
Oh, really? Oops. Sorry.
Where's your gun, Olivia? You don't have a gun?
Reed, black people aren't allowed to own guns.
No. Well, I could own a shotgun, but I don't have one. I want to, for my 21st, which is next month, I am going to get myself a handgun.
You don't need a gun. You can just wrestle motherfuckers. Try to attack
You're not even 21?
No.
God. She's younger than Drew. She doesn't even know what a VCR is.
How old is Drew? I thought me and Drew are the same age.
Drew's 21.
He's
right?
21.
Oh.
Yeah, I told my kid the other day, it was like, you know, back when I was a kid,
all right,
we had VCRs and we had to rewind the video to the beginning before we wanted to watch it again. And they were just like, what?
Did you have one of the rewinders that had the light and everything and it would pop up at the end when it was done?
No.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't that fancy.
Oh, so you were rich like me, Jake.
Yes.
Well, no, I have a real question here. Does being under 21 change how many shots she can do?
Legally, yes.
Fuck legally. Nobody asked that question.
Well, I'm assuming in Dave's like situation, he's talking about people who are of legal drinking age, not like minors.
I like how like there are some people, and like there's a friend of mine who was like, and he's an older guy, and he was like hyper focused and on this one point of Dave's thing. He was like, well, at 12 shots in, people will just be incapacitated. I was like, I'm pretty sure Dave just picked an arbitrary number. Like if that's what you're going to focus on there, like Dave's obviously not, like, anyone reasonable is not going to assume Dave's saying that like someone's passed out on the couch, and if you assault them, that it's consensual because they chose to drink themselves into that state. Like, I don't know.
It was a really dumb conversation that I couldn't believe went on for like 3 days and is still going on.
It's still going on. That's
they call that autism.
This is true.
What is autism? I've never heard of this.
I just heard it
Let
like from
the
a bunch of
autism
libertarians.
know through you.
I had Dan Fishman, the former executive director of the National Party, on the show like 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about him getting his career started as a special education teacher, and he started to say a sentence that started off something along the lines of like, teaching in special education gave me a lot of practice and preparation, and I cut him off and like, for working with libertarians, and he's like tried to like not agree with me because he was trying to be professional and we were having like a good interview, but it was too good of a point. He couldn't disagree.
Dan is someone who's I tried to invite Dan on my show like a couple months ago, and Dan is someone who I have an immense amount of respect for because he's one of the people that brought me into the Libertarian Party and recruited me to help and got me involved in the first place. But when I asked him to come on my show, he says, don't take this the wrong way, but I don't think I can associate with you because you're with the Mises Caucus.
When did he become such a loser-tarian? Like, I used to like Dan too, but he's just become such a bitch.
Fuck cuck.
Bitch fuck.
Sorry,
cuck.
yeah.
That
I'm pretty sure Reed has that trademarked, and I can't afford whatever that is.
That's my proudest contribution of 2021 was adding bitch fuck cuck to the terminology. I'm pretty proud of that one.
Do you think, has anyone made like an Urban Dictionary definition for it?
I don't know if it exists yet.
Heckman just perked up like he's about to go do it.
I created an Urban Dictionary.
It's not exclusive to right or left. It's both. We've seen both right and left bitch fuck cucks. So
I created an Urban Dictionary during PorkFest this past year because, like, are you familiar with what a candy flip is?
Yes, that's like MDMA and acid.
Yeah, and then there's a hippie flip, which is MDMA and mushrooms. Then there's a Jedi flip where you do MDMA, mushrooms, and acid. Then there's the kitty flip, which is MDMA and ketamine.
Good God.
And all sorts of different ones. Well, at one point, we were trying to figure out what the name of what we were doing was, and we couldn't find it anywhere on any polydrug list anywhere. So we created the Cleveland flip, which was mescaline and acid.
Is that just where you get really fucking depressed and want to kill yourself?
Yeah.
Cleveland is like the factory. Yeah, exactly. Cleveland is literally...
we were so high, we thought Cleveland flip was a good name for it because, like, we're doing mescaline, which is peyote, and fucking Indians do peyote, and the Indians played in Cleveland.
That's the kind of thing you would only think is a good idea on mescaline and acid.
Right. But it's still on Urban Dictionary as the Cleveland flip.
I'm proud of you.
I'm such a good little Christian boy. I have like no idea what like half those things you said were.
Come to PorkFest.
Yeah. All right.
I like how you sold. I like how you tried to sell me on PorkFest in two different ways. One, there's lots of kids, family friendly. Two, Cleveland flip.
Two different sides. Yeah.
Nice.
He's not lying.
Look up bitch fuck cuck, see if it's there.
All right.
I really don't know that I want to do this or whether or not I trust you guys, but I'm going to be right back and run and grab a drink.
Oh, God.
Don't get my YouTube channel canceled, please.
Put a tower in the chat, everyone.
Olivia, can you make sure that they behave? I'll be right back. I'll be very quick.
Why is that on me?
Yeah, we're
like,
in
am I a
a
slave?
The 20-year-old is the most responsible person on this stream. That's why.
I have 4 kids. Fuck you.
Yeah, bitch fuck cuck is not in the Urban Dictionary, by the way.
By the way, what's all this shit going on with Jack Murphy? Because I don't even know who the fuck he is.
I don't even know if
And
I should comment on it, to be
and
honest.
he follows me. I just like look.
Yeah, I don't even know who he
follows me, and I have no idea.
Wasn't he at Revolution 21?
Mm-mm.
No, I'm thinking of a different Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know who this is.
I literally don't have any bandwidth left for any more Liberty drama for like the rest of the year.
Is he?
I can hear about it all day, but interacting
not
with it is
libertarian.
cancer.
I thought he was like a right winger
Okay.
or something or other.
Whatever.
Yeah, he's not libertarian.
Twitter
You're thinking
drama.
of Jack Hunter, Ben.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Nah, but no, because Jack Murphy is part of like the Timcast cast. I don't know if I should. comment on it.
I like how Tim is like this leper that nobody wants. The left's like, he's not on the left, and the right's like, he's not on the right.
Mm-hmm.
He's just
So,
nothing.
Olivia, whatever happened, was he 12 shots in or no?
Oh.
I want to kill myself.
No, what?
Oh my god, I was
actually
about to be 12 shots in at the Timcast castle.
No, wait.
Video.
Can you kill yourself while you're 12 shots in? If you're 12 shots in and you choose to kill yourself, is it you killing you?
Who's killing you?
Or is it the alcohol killing you?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Dude,
that is a fucking.
Or is it big alcohol? Is
Well,
big
depending on
alcohol
how
killing you?
depending on how quickly you did the 12 shots, you might be approaching alcohol poisoning.
It's true.
So
Nah,
the
man, I'm a
shot.
tank.
Well, what if you?
All right, everyone,
They-
stop using the N word.
They
What if you
misbehaved.
drink 11 shots and then you shoot yourself? Because then you're still technically 12 shots in. But- I mean, I don't know.
So if I ever do commit suicide, I have to remember this as the way to go out.
Yeah.
Anyone
my
watching
God.
this that doesn't know the 12 shots thing is
It's
not
just like,
gonna
what the-
like understand literally 50% of this entire stream.
No,
I'm
stop,
so glad
guys.
you
That's
online.
Clued
You're
into
so
Liberty
you're-
Twitter to get any of this stream.
Would you rather we just talked about Pete Canones for an hour and a half?
No.
We can do that
No.
too.
Can I go
Well, I
back
mean,
to
we already talked
mispronouncing his
about
last
bitch
name
fuck
now?
cucks.
By the way, Jacob and I are two of the people who are not like big players who tried the hardest to like stay friendly with him. And it just, I mean, I don't think we made any concessions, but we just like tried to maintain that friendship. And oh well, like
Did he ever end up apologizing at all?
sort of, kind of, not really, a little bit.
Like
Never-
it was a weak ass apology. He didn't apologize even to the right people. He just
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was
like-
never directed toward the people he was making accusation. Like he made an accusation that he never like named any names, but he said there are certain people who are gonna fry because they were defending the indefensible.
He
And
also
so I
said
even
we were.
asked-
He also
I
said
really
we were
wanna know
all
what that means.
beneath him.
I asked him because I'm pretty sure he was saying me that I was defending Kevin Hobby, which, as David could point out, is ridiculous. Because
And
like,
my favorite part was where the 3'7" bald guy said, "You are all beneath me."
Is he really short?
He's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
short.
pretty short. It's like
Oh.
5. He's probably 5'7" or something like that.
Oh, that's not that short. You guys made it sound like he was a midget.
All right.
He's
Well,
short compared to like
pretty short.
everybody except Tom Woods, but Tom Woods gets a pass because he's Tom Woods.
Or Jose.
I will say I saw Pete at
Well,
Tom Woods
Jose is
2000, he was
wider.
shorter than I expected.
Jose is wider than he is tall, so I mean, he also gets a pass.
So I tried to look up what the controversy was with Jack Murphy just out of morbid curiosity. And is it really just that he fucking wrote an article about like being a sub in the bedroom even though he's hyper masculine?
I think
Is that-
Olivia
is that
doesn't want to
bad?
talk about this. Is what I picked up from this.
Yeah, I just feel like I shouldn't comment on it.
But is
I mean-
that really what people are upset about?
If
I've
they
just
are, then they
seen
need
a
to be
ton of-
upset with me too, because same, and I have no shame in that.
Wow. I've had
Good
too
to
many
know.
personal dramas going on to pay attention to that. But yeah,
Okay, Dave, you know enough about my wife and my relationship that should not be surprising to you.
No, that's fair. that is.
I
that
have
is
no
very
idea
fair.
what Tim's gonna say or how he's gonna address the issue, and it's really none of my business. Honestly, I found out about the original drama, like when he was cussing out Sydney on the podcast. When we were live on Timcast, the chat started bringing it up because it happened at the same time that I was live on Timcast. And so I was like, well, they were talking about, I was like, I don't even know this guy enough to talk about it. Me and Jack Murphy barely talk.
How long has it just been biblical anarchy at the bottom? Because, like, I feel like it hasn't changed, and so
David's really high.
It's been
like
a little bit, but you were also the last one, or like the
True.
last one to come in, so yours hadn't been at the bottom. So I was like, I'll give it a little bit longer, you know, because like O'Donnell's has already scrolled like 3 or 4 times.
It's just ironic because like everything that we're talking about is just like framed with
Drugs.
bitch, cuck, fucks, drugs, biblical anarchy.
Hey, so last Pork Fest, somebody set up a church tent like 4 sites away from our like debaucherous party tent, and was like actively trying to recruit people leaving the party.
Oh my God.
Didn't
Nice.
go well for him. He got a couple people. Like there was some kid who came in and just fucking ate like 7 edibles, fucking zonked out, and then spent the rest of the week in the church tent.
I gotta be honest, like I am not the type of Christian who is against drug use. I haven't done a lot myself just because of my
Cheers.
temperament and personality, but I'm not against trying really anything in the right context. I am against abusing any type of substance, but that's anything. Sugar can be abused, caffeine can be abused, and in the same way, I don't think it's marijuana or mushrooms or anything like that is wrong to use, but there are definitely ways you can misuse them. So I don't really care.
Yeah, gingers would be another thing you could add onto the list.
No, there's no use for gingers. That is a complete corruption of Satan.
Well, that's not to say there's no use for them.
There's no there's no righteous use. Okay, remember in Romans 9
potatoes.
where God says, as the potter, He's made some vessels for honorable use and some for dishonorable use. Redheads are the ones He created for dishonorable use.
And I am here for it.
So at the New York State Convention, the Sober Caucus had a table.
There's a Sober Caucus?
There's
Yeah.
a Sober Caucus.
That
They're
sounds
actually
awful.
Fuck them.
Yes.
hold
Fuck
on,
them.
hold on. They're actually great guys. They do awesome things. They're
Yeah, they
cool
managed to
people.
get me and Jacob to agree on something. Fuck them.
Fair enough. But so the caucus right next to theirs, which was supposed to be the youth caucus table, ended up being taken over by a couple of wonderful people who were selling drugs and edibles,
I
and it
bought
was a
some.
wonderful irony. You did.
It was delicious, actually.
I ended up getting my hands on one of those snickerdoodles, and they were delicious, and also quite strong.
I had like one of those things. It was like 2 like chocolate chip cookies, and there was like a bunch of cream in the middle. It was so good. So good.
Are we
Dude,
talking about desserts, or are we talking about a wild a night that you had with a couple women?
Both.
Did I ever tell you about the first time I did edibles? I had no clue that I was doing edibles. It was in the 2016, like right after I got out of the army, and Dan Fishman wrote me into helping with the Johnson Weld tent at Hempfest in Boston. And at some point, one of the organizers comes over and they're all like, "Hey, we had a speaker for the main stage cancel. We'd like someone to speak on behalf of Governor Johnson." And Dan Fishman's like, "Cool, Justin will do it." And I'm like, "I'll fucking do what?" Because like I was terrified of public speaking at that time. Like I thought it was horrible. And like the biggest group I'd ever spoken to was like the 20 guys in my army unit, not the 270,000 people on the Boston Common for Hempfest. And so the guy drives me backstage, gives me a wristband, and I'm sitting there watching the Patriots game with Method Man, because Method Man was the headliner for Hempfest.
God damn, are you a Patriots fan?
Of course I'm a Patriots fan. I have season tickets.
I hate you too now.
And Method Man is just like, "I'm hungry. I'm going to get some snacks, guys. Would you guys like some snacks?" And I'm all nervous and shit. I'm like, "I could use some snacks, Method Man. That'd be really cool, Mr. Method Man." And Method Man comes back with a tray full of baked goods. I'm like, "That's cool as shit." And I just start housing cookies. And Method Man just looks at me like eyes wide, like, "What the fuck you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, shit." Didn't connect the dots. And like in the 20 or so, 30, 40 minutes they took for my time to come speak on stage, as I was walking up on stage, I just felt it all hit me. And I was just completely fucked up. and I just yelled at a crowd of 250,000 people for 20 minutes about legalizing marijuana and got a standing ovation from 250,000 people. And that's when I realized public speaking isn't hard because Method Man drugged me.
There you go.
But was it 12 baked goods?
It was a lot of baked goods.
Were you 12 baked goods in? Happy birthday, David.
Thank you, Reed. Love you. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Good to see all you beautiful faces and Justin. So. All right. Well, you guys are going to have to make do with just one bigot on the show for now. So.
No, I was about to say I kind of have to take off too.
Oh,
She's admitting to be a bigot.
Yeah, like
she just did.
I was trying to figure out which one of us he was talking about, but if she's just going to
It was
the title.
me. It's me. No, that's just what he calls me all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I might get her to the point where she can't support her family anymore if I call her a bigot, but you know.
Let's not even do this again. Let's not.
You should have brought the mustache, Olivia.
Oh my god, I lost it. I would have to sacrifice another hair extension to make another one again, which I don't mind doing, honestly, but that's what I did last time.
We should just order you a fake mustache.
Yeah, I think so. Anyways.
All right, guys. Happy New Year. Almost.
Happy New Year.
See you, Reed. Nice meeting you, Olivia.
Thank you.
It's kind of sus that they left at the same time, not going to lie.
Finally, it's just a sausage fest.
Yes.
I think I'm literally just going to send Olivia a fake mustache. They're $3. Perfect. I've done dumber shit with money.
I mean, yeah.
I bought a lifetime membership in the Libertarian Party.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
How much is that?
$1,500.
Oh my god.
That's fucked.
You could have put $1,500
Where's your
into
pin?
Bitcoin. You could have put $1,500 into Dogecoin. You could have put $1,500 under your mattress.
Yeah, I put more than $1,500 in Bitcoin a long time ago.
Oh, you rich bastard.
Fucking last year when Bitcoin hit $50,000 on New Year's Eve, I just get a text message from my mom who never pays attention. I thought she never paid attention when I talked about crypto or anything like that because I've been trying to tell her about crypto since like 2013. And she just sends me a screenshot of Bitcoin at $50,000 as a headline. She's like, "Are you rich?" I'm like, "Fuck you!" Like,
I'm mad. See, I had a lot. I had an okay amount in there, and it went from like 17 to 35, and I was just like, "There's no way it keeps going up. There's no way." So I sold out at 35, thinking it would go back down, and I'd put all back in, and then it went up to like fucking 50, and I was like, "God damn it."
My big regret is selling all my Ethereum. I sold a bunch of Ethereum for $86 after.
Autumn's got her priorities straight. Dumplings.
What kind of dumplings? Because that's important.
Are they on the blockchain?
Are they pork dumplings, shrimp dumplings? I mean,
all of the above.
I mean,
I think it's a type of cryptocurrency.
Oh, is it?
Dumplings.
No.
All right, so I'm gonna pitch a shitcoin to y'all. Jellycoin, like jellyfish. Because did you know that jellyfish are the world's true reserve currency?
What?
Yeah. So in the United States and every other civilized country, it is illegal to sell exotic animals between zoos and aquariums. So they're not allowed to like pay each other to transfer animals between aquariums and zoos. But they have to rotate the animals throughout the networks to make sure they maintain healthy breeding populations. And they need to keep an accounting of their animals because they're worth something. And so what they've done is they've basically pegged the jellyfish to the US dollar and have assigned values to all the different aquatic animals in aquariums. And say one aquarium is sending another one a stingray, and in return, they're getting a great white shark. The great white shark is worth a hell of a lot more than a stingray. So they'll send a stingray and a crate of 1,000 jellyfish for the great white shark. And they use jellyfish to make up the difference in price between everything else that they trade. And they've pegged the price of a jellyfish to $1.
It's a really fun fact.
Am I lagging for you guys, or is it just on my end?
You're lagging like a bitch. It's David's potato internet.
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave and come back just to see the fix of it.
It's Jacob's potato internet on this one because I'm hearing you guys just fine.
Oh my god.
But I think that's an actual solution to a cryptocurrency, because if it's not money and the government doesn't want to say it's money, then they're not actually buying the fish. They're just trading an accounting mechanism.
Yeah, I'm on board. You've convinced me.
Jellycoin.
The jellyfish. The jelly coin. You need to get Jeffrey Dallas to like make a song about it.
No, we just got to get Elon Musk to say it's cool.
Are you familiar with the Jellyfish song?
No.
Oh.
Are you familiar with the Narwhal song?
Yes.
We talk about the SpongeBob Jellyfish song.
Oh God.
No, Jeffrey Dallas.
Oh. Right.
Okay.
I assume almost everything relates back to SpongeBob.
I mean, that's usually a fairly good assumption.
SpongeBob is the icon of a generation.
Yeah, my kids, like, I remember, like, whenever when they started watching TV, I put SpongeBob on and they said they hated it. I was like, what? How could you hate SpongeBob? I turned it on. It's like all the new shit. I was like, oh, no, you're absolutely right. This is garbage. Then I went and looked up the good stuff and they were just like, oh, wow, this is good. I was like, yeah, SpongeBob was good back in the day. But all kids' TV shows suck now. Like, I can't find any modern kids shows that are worth watching. Doesn't matter if it's on Nickelodeon. Doesn't matter if it's on Disney. Doesn't matter if it's on Netflix. Like, they all suck. I can still go back, though, and watch kids shows from when I was a kid, and they hold up for the most part.
Yeah, Drake and Josh and, like, you know, iCarly, all that stuff, great. But now you turn on Disney and it's like some Dan Schneider shit still, but he's like losing his touch, I think. I don't know.
Justin, you liked iCarly. Don't even pretend you didn't, okay?
No, I don't think I've ever watched an episode of iCarly.
There's that new version where they're all like grown up and cursing and stuff. I haven't
seen that. No.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you didn't see that, Dave? There's a new version of it that's like adult version.
Is it
of
still
iCarly.
Miranda Cosgrove?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm in.
All the
And
returning
Jerry
cast.
Trainer, except Sam.
Except
I don't think she comes back.
I thought I was too old for iCarly.
I don't know.
I was like right on the cusp. Like I was like,
how old are you? You're what, 32?
I'm 32.
Yeah, you're too
I'm
old.
29. See, like I missed it.
That was a completely random guess.
But like,
I'm
no,
proud of
like,
myself.
my childhood was like Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life.
Okay.
See, that was like a little before me. Like stuff my sister watched.
Rugrats.
I watched Rugrats.
Yeah, I had Rugrats. I'm 22, so like SpongeBob premiered the year I was born, I think. So that's like sort of, and Fairly Odd Parents also.
Fairly Odd Parents.
I did watch Fairly Odd Parents. Fucking.
I used to know
Miranda
the theme song
Cosgrove
by
is
heart.
28, so you're only 4 years older than iCarly.
Well, the show
When
is
did the
different
show come out?
than the age of the human.
Well,
David.
Does it? Does it?
And how old was she when she played the character?
I'm getting there, okay? There it is. The show started in 07.
Okay. So she would have been.
So that show started like right before I joined the army.
You're telling me all your army dudes didn't, all join together at night to turn on iCarly?
So I didn't actually watch the show very much at all because I didn't have cable growing up. So I didn't watch any like Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, or
So you've always
like
been
any of that
homeless.
stuff. No, homeschooled. Then homeless.
Homeschooled, homeless.
Is that where? So you were homeless. So weren't you just unschooled? Is that where the term comes from? Is when you homeschooling for homeless people?
Yes, I was the original unschooler. No, luckily I finished school before I became homeless. Thankfully.
Oh gosh,
that was before I became a heathen, and God forsake me.
I lived out of my car for a couple weeks once. It was pretty fun.
Honestly, I would encourage and suggest everyone to try being homeless for some short amount of time.
I lived out of my car and on campgrounds for a whole year.
If I wasn't married with
fun.
if I wasn't married with kids, I would seriously consider the homeless person in a van life.
I lived in a minivan for 2 weeks straight with a band I used to be in. We went on tour for like 2 weeks, and I just lived in a minivan. It was pretty cozy. It started to stink.
Yeah, so
after like a week.
After a year, I was like, fine, I'll sell some Bitcoin and get a house. Like,
that's fair.
Like, it is. I don't understand the van life people. That's a miserable fucking existence.
You can't commit to it for too long, but it's fun in doses.
There's a YouTube channel my wife follows that's like a whole family that does it.
Yeah. Haven't you ever seen RV? You got that weird like Southern homeschool family.
Oh, the Robin Williams movie?
Yeah.
That's a classic.
Good time.
I'll never forget the scene where he's draining the poop tank.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
Man, I love that movie because my family actually did a lot of RV vacations growing up. My grandma bought a small motorhome when I was like probably like 11 or 12, somewhere around there. And then thanks to being homeschooled, I had a little bit of a flexible schedule. And so I did like a 2-week vacation with my grandma and a 2-week vacation with my parents pretty much every year for like 6 years straight. It's a good time.
No, I think at some point we reached a weird point in cultural generation where we went from like everyone knowing and internalizing Chris Farley screaming at them, saying if you're going to be a failure in life and live in a van down by the river, to everyone saying that sounds pretty good, and it turns out it's fucking awful.
I wouldn't live in a van down by the river, but I like the idea of like not being out in the middle of nowhere, but like in more urban environments. But the problem is it's probably like heavily legislated against doing that in more urban environments, but I don't know.
It's a lot harder for like Airbnbs to do things in urban environments. I learned that the hard way.
That's very true. You know, it's funny, Justin, you bring up an interesting point there because I didn't see that clip until like 2 years ago.
Yeah, because you were a sheltered homeschooled kid.
Exactly. Actually, no, I wasn't that sheltered from too much. I had taste growing up, and as did my parents in some ways. So we didn't watch SNL because it wasn't fucking funny.
Yeah, most of SNL isn't funny. It's pretty true.
Yeah, I never grew up with SNL. I grew up with The Whitest Kid You Know. That's what I grew up with.
See, I didn't grow up with that shit either.
But see, I grew up with
up on How I Met Your Mother.
Okay. Never saw it.
I grew up
you
with...
said you had taste.
Yeah.
I grew up...
I said sort of.
I grew up with VeggieTales, 3, 2, 1 Penguins.
Yeah.
Yo, what about Bible
Man? Bible Man. Then there was a couple. There was this Christian comedian network called like something Bananas or something, and it had this really awful comedians that were like knockoffs of like famous comedians but Christian. So there was like a Christian version of what's the guy with the puppets, like Jeff Dunham or something like that.
Yeah, Jeff Dunham.
Dunham. Yeah. So there was like a Christian version of that. There was a Christian version of
Dave Chappelle.
Dave. Yeah, I mean there was like a Christian
there were
one
no
of all
black people on this.
Yeah, there was the Christian version of what's his name? The guy who does the You Might Be a Redneck. I forget his name.
Jeff Foxworthy.
Yeah, Jeff Foxworthy. Yeah.
Were you a fan of Tim Hawkins?
I don't know that person by name.
He's a Christian comedian. He's both a stand-up comedian / parody musician, kind of in a Bo Burnham style, but in a Christian way. I think you would actually really appreciate most of his content. Actually, probably all of it, because you would identify with all of it throughout.
Speaking of Bo Burnham, like an hour before the stream, I just watched Inside for the first time, that Netflix special he did.
I still haven't finished it.
It's so good. It's like not just a comedy special like at all. Like that is like, it's kind of a tearjerker at times. I highly recommend it. Very well made. Very well made.
Does he go after trans people and the woke culture like Dave Chappelle?
Yeah, for like half the movie, it's great.
Now I have to. Yeah, fucking Dave Chappelle getting canceled by Netflix.
You mean not getting canceled by Netflix?
Well, they didn't take it down, but like the CEO apologized to the employees and he put out a memo. He's like, "I'm wrong. I didn't realize words can hurt people."
Did he also have a comment on the cuties thing or no?
I don't know, but like it was just like peak 2021.
I just think it's interesting to measure the outrage for cuties and also the outrage, like against the outrage for Dave Chappelle. Because I feel like the Dave Chappelle outrage was a lot more intense, and the cuties outrage should have been a lot more intense than it was.
I mean, actually, so let's talk about that.
Oh,
because,
no.
Hold on.
We already did Age of Consent, David. Now you're doubling down.
You don't know. He could have been going Dave Chappelle.
So my point is, because I think, Ben, you bring up a very good point that should be true. And I think it is. I think that's a significantly larger, like probably 10 or more times as large of a group of people were upset about cuties as were upset about Dave Chappelle. I think that it is a drastic majority of the country compared to the other group. However, the group that was mad about Dave Chappelle just happened to be a little bit louder and got a lot more
I agree with
publicity.
you, but here's the problem. There was a disturbing amount of people, even if it was a small percentage overall. It was a disturbing percentage of people who were loudly trying to defend cuties. And that's what bothered me, was that, yes, most reasonable people looked at that and went, yeah, like, even some people who were trying to give it a charitable viewing were like, this is kind of cringy. But there were, unfortunately, a small minority of people on the left who were, trying to champion things in that movie and talk about normalizing them. And
okay,
that's a problem.
I'll agree with you there. I will also say that I didn't. So the reason that I didn't really care too much about it is because I didn't actually watch any of it, and therefore I wasn't willing to make a judgment call on something that I hadn't seen. The few people that I actually respected in any way, shape, or form that were like, "Hey, this is actually okay," I gave them kind of the benefit of the doubt as someone that that probably actually watched it, and I didn't, and I was like, whatever. All right, moving on. I was like working when that came out, and so I was just like, all right, so let's just keep going.
The only review I watched and the one I took to heart of cuties was Shoe on Head, because I'm like, I'm just going to watch a review from somebody who's from as far left as you can get and still be a reasonable person. And she was calling for like the execution
but she's
of the
like
director.
A trad leftist.
It's the only good leftist.
That's fair. It really is.
All right. So we have another guest here, good friend who worked with me in Michigan, who's been on the show before, and was also a part of.
Did
the
you
Liberty...
murder Ben?
I didn't murder Ben. Ben murdered himself.
Was Ben 12 shots in?
Ben is now 12 shots in, and therefore we're gonna fuck him. Bye, Ben. Come back when you want to. Jesse, welcome to the show.
How many shots in are you?
What's going on?
How many shots have you had, sir?
0, and I'm not drinking tonight, unfortunately.
Oh, that's sad.
You got to be at least 12 in.
I have to
12
tomorrow,
at
so.
least.
If I do 24 shots in, do they transfer over to him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that how StreamYard works?
All right. Well, now we have to ask the question: is consent transferable?
No. I think that's an easy one to answer. I'm gonna pull Ben back up, even though he's still dead. He can come back whenever he wants.
Now, hey, so hear me out here. Nowadays, at like colleges and like woke bars and shit, they hand out consent contracts, and they tell you to have the contract signed and everything for explicit consent. Historically, buying and selling of contracts is things people have done for a long time. So what if somebody signs a consent contract and then one party sells the assignment of that contract to somebody else?
they still have to enforce the contract as it was stated, and usually most contracts have a clause in them stating like if something pertaining to like if the,
Non-transferable.
well, or saying like the terms that would apply if the contract was transferred, if the company on the one side was bought out or
I'm gonna
whatever.
look up consent contract right now.
So I was actually, it's funny you bring this up. I haven't talked about this on the stream yet, and I want to. I was watching a Netflix series called Daybreakers. It's like
Fucking incredible show.
Okay, did you watch it throughout?
Yeah, the whole thing. I read the comic book before too. It's
Oh,
incredible.
okay.
Like the little girl, she's like, you don't need a partner. You need a sidekick with questionable moral character. Like my spirit animal right there.
I love it. It was so good. Okay, but did you catch the part where they have it? So it's an interesting movie where like kind of like a nuclear apocalypse scenario. All of the adults turn into basically zombies. All the kids survive. And so it's just like kids take over the world post-apocalypse. It's interesting. But there's a scene in one of the flashbacks where the main characters hook up for the first time, and he's like really nervous about like, are you sure about this?
And she's just like a whore.
And she's kind of a whore. And she has like an app that, you know, like both people can like make an account and like give each other consent, and then like it's saved in the app. So and then like you have that, so if like she tried to say anything afterwards, like she would have that. And I'm like, this is actually kind of genius and
I fucking
and
hate
pretty
it so
dope.
much.
Okay, here's the thing, like if you are the kind of person, like maybe you are, Justin, since that was your response there, that is very much turned off by this, if more people used it, you would know to like not be into that. Like if someone like was like, oh, do you have this app? And you were like, no, then you guys know like, all right, you guys aren't meant to like, you guys shouldn't even like pursue the rest of that evening. You meet somebody in a bar, they ask you about the app, you know it's a deal breaker, and you get to go your separate ways. And then the people who are into that kind of stuff, if more of them knew about it and were using something like that, I don't know. Ben, what do you think about date rape apps?
I think when you title it a date rape app, it
Call,
makes it
yeah,
even
is
worse.
this an app that is used to prevent date rape, or is it an app that is used to help date rapers do the date raping?
No, it's more of an app to provide somebody an affirmative defense against a date rape accusation.
That sounds like a great idea.
Right. The problem is like the whole pre-negotiation shit. Like you take spontaneity out of the act. You take the fun and the spice out of fucking life. Like I've got a female friend who I like her mentality. She doesn't believe in the necessity for affirmative consent. Her argument is a big girl knows when to say no. And that until she says no, everything's okay. But like,
I don't know about that.
I mean, because like sometimes in the heat of the fucking moment, like I'm gonna go Clerks 2 here. In the heat of the moment, sometimes it's okay to go ass to mouth. But if you have to fucking pause and check the app and see if she's okay with that, rather than just ask.
I think it's on the guy to ask. Like,
yeah, but you don't need a fucking app.
No, I mean
you don't need an app. However, it might expedite some of the things. Because the other thing about this is that you can like take a quick peruse through the person's thing, and before you go into it, you know that she's the kind of person that in the heat of the moment is definitely going to be down for ass to mouth, and you don't even have to think about it for a second.
My opinion is that people should wait until they are married.
You don't get an opinion.
You're a cop. You don't get to share your opinion.
But my opinion is that people should wait until they're married to have sex. They're like, boo.
Yeah, that's not fucking happening.
Go fuck yourself, Jacob.
I mean, like, is it boring? Yeah, but is it like better for you? I think objectively, yeah.
No.
So I will say
Medically, probably not.
What probably not?
Medically.
It's actually the best medically for you because it's a 0% chance of if both you and your partner wait until marriage to have sex, there is a exactly 0% chance that you guys will have sexually transmitted diseases.
Incorrect. Herpes is
Are you
transferred at
shit
birth.
posting in the comments of a stream you're on, Justin?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Again, if
Yes.
neither of you, okay, so aside
I'm just
from
gonna say
something
this,
you
like,
inherited,
as someone who was raised to believe that sex before marriage is wrong, it brought me nothing but depression in like my late teens and early 20s.
Okay.
And when I started having sex, my life just got a whole lot better.
Yeah.
I found myself to be a much happier and like just much like less of a tense person.
Like sex is
And
a
I'll just
biological
leave it at that.
function. Like
Exactly.
as human beings, we are compelled biologically to want and to crave to have sex because the propagation
don't
of the
disagree with you.
species is the biggest biological
I don't disagree with
evolutionary
you.
drive.
The
So
Bible
by-
doesn't disagree with you.
So by withholding that until fucking marriage, which in this day and age isn't a fucking sure shot for fucking anybody.
It's a libertarian position of delayed gratification, low time preference.
But here's the thing: that delayed gratification comes at what cost? At deteriorating mental
It comes
health.
at it comes with a little bit of a cost and a very high gain. In
You
terms
only
of
think it
social...
comes with a high gain because you don't know what you missed out on.
No, I had sex before marriage, so I failed to do that, and I wish I hadn't made that mistake. I've had to live with the consequences of having sex before marriage. So you can't say I don't know what I missed out on. No, I know what I know what I missed out on because I did the thing I wasn't supposed to do.
Naughty.
I mean, every person is different. Like if that's truly how you feel, then that's you. But it just did not. It doesn't work for everybody. It sure as hell didn't work for me.
Yeah, like I'm personally a fan of like non-monogamous relationships, and most of my friends disagree with me on that. And that's something that I'm a big proponent of it being very much not for everybody, and that you should only do it if you're comfortable with it, and people shouldn't pressure people into it, and people shouldn't do it because they think it's cool or like it's what society has deemed like popular or whatever right now.
I've got real mixed feelings on that one.
Right, you mentioned that in a thread. Somehow that came up in my mentions today. I have no idea how. Somehow.
I just see very few examples of it working out well long term. You can point to a lot of ones working out well short term, but I've very rarely seen one that has continued and over. I'm sure they exist, like in the billions of people over thousands of years. I'm sure there have been somewhat successful polygamous relationships, but I'm just saying it seems to be statistically your probability of that working out seems lower than monogamous relationships, which already have high percentage failures. So Ben, you're muted, or I can't hear you, which is how it should be. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, it's the non-monogamous stuff. I get real mixed feelings on it because, like, personally, like when I'm in a relationship, I prefer a monogamous relationship. But like when I'm not in a relationship, the non-monogamous girls are totally on the table.
I mean, if you're not in a relationship, you're by definition non-monogamous to begin with.
Wait, can y'all hear me now?
Now
we can hear you, but we can't see you.
Hey, all right, never mind. We're good.
What were you about to say, Jesse? Sorry.
No,
Ben.
all I said is like if you're not in a relationship, like by definition, you're non-monogamous. Like you're not committed at all.
Okay. Ben, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off for like a seventh time.
Yeah, you
after
did.
You
Don't
were
lie.
muted.
I was gonna say I think like casual sex is definitely still like way too normalized or destigmatized. But I would not say that it's wrong all the time.
Come to Porkfest.
This is my last rolling paper, guys.
You got to use cones.
Is that 12?
Is that
Wait,
yeah?
oh.
Is that your 12th?
Okay, Ben, I respectfully disagree with you. And Justin, when is Porkfest next year?
End of June, same time every year.
Okay, cool. I will make every effort. I wanted to go this year, but I just could not afford it.
So here's the thing: a lot of people, first timers at Porkfest, blow a lot of money and go away like after like in a hole for like $1,000 or so for the trip and camping and go in the week. Most people who do what I do, I make a profit every single year. It's like you find something to vend, something to do, and make Porkfest a business trip that you can enjoy. Like the past couple of years, like this year, I got there. First thing I did was call a guy I know locally who sells firewood. I'm like, hey, can you deliver 2 cords to the campground to my campsite? He did. I paid a couple kids $10 each to stack 2 cords of wood. I then put up a sign and put up in the telegram, firewood. Pay what you think it's, take what you need, leave what you think it's worth. I didn't put a price on it. I paid him $240 for 2 cords of wood. I made $1,000 on 2 cords of wood.
Holy shit!
Yeah, because people just left what they want. I also sell food. Like I was cooking breakfast and selling breakfasts, and people were coming to buy breakfast from me because they didn't want to cook. I also sold some other things at a festival rate markup.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can leave Porkfest profitable if you go into it with the right mindset.
I'll definitely keep mine and just think it and just talk about New Hampshire real quick. I'm actually in a new place to move after I finish school next year, so I definitely want to check out New Hampshire at some.
So if you're looking to come for a winter trip, which I advise everyone to do, if you're not from like the Midwest or the Great Lakes, you probably want to visit in the winter before moving. Come to Liberty Forum in March. First weekend of March is the New Hampshire Liberty Forum. We got a fucking awesome keynote speaker who I'm not at liberty to reveal their name yet, but everyone else, like, it's going to be a great conference, full weekend. I'm expecting David to come up.
There is a really good chance I'll get sent to New Hampshire on this new job eventually.
If I can crash at your place, I'm there.
We'll see.
So I grew up in New Jersey and lived upstate New York for a little bit. Like, is New Hampshire like much colder than that?
No, upstate New York is way colder than New Hampshire.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually disagree with you on that.
Okay, you get way more snow than us.
That is, yeah. New Hampshire gets less snow, but the actual like wind chill and temperature is, I noticed, was a solid, like, because I kept, obviously, like, my phone was still had like my parents' house weather saved to it, so I was constantly checking, and so it was like New Hampshire would be at a specific amount of degrees. My parents' house would be 5 degrees warmer than that, and New York City would be 10 degrees warmer than that.
Yeah, but we
all winter.
Like, we've had a grand total of 1 inch of snow this winter, and there's nothing left on the ground.
It's been a warm winter.
It has been a freakishly warm winter.
So typically, like how cold does New Hampshire get in the winter? Like on a typical like January day, like how cold would it get?
Man, I still haven't busted out a coat. Like I'm an aberration. Like I wear sandals year round and shorts year round. But like I was out working doing some inspections today because I've been doing some real estate inspections, and I was in a t-shirt.
I'm a dad, so I wear sandals year round, but I wear them with socks.
Yeah, but like I was out there just wearing a t-shirt doing fucking property surveys today. It's not cold at all, and it was like high 30s. You just get used to it.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No. But everyone says they would move to New Hampshire if it weren't so cold. And, you know, if a jacket is the only thing keeping you from realizing liberty in your lifetime, then maybe freedom is not for you.
So it's really funny. The reason that I didn't move to New Hampshire last year is almost completely gone out the window since last year. Because it was actually the income of a state house rep. That's why I didn't move. I wanted a state that I could run for office for state house and make an actual living wage.
Yeah, see, we don't want people like that running for state house.
And I get that, and I respect that. However, that was my goal. Like I was
But-
working for Yale all year in 2020, and
I'm going to check something for adjusted for inflation. Because the state house salary in New Hampshire was set. It's a constitutional provision that was set in 1793 and has not been adjusted since. And it
I
was,
thought it was like $400 a year or something.
It was $200 a year in 1793.
I hope the person driving that car is not 12 shots in.
Right.
I'm not going to say anything racist because we don't want David's channel to get canceled.
Bro, that
You
is
don't?
long gone. Bro,
But-
there's a reason that this is a Fight Club episode and not an actual like Fight for Liberty. It's going to go on the separate Odyssey channel.
Wait, is this an actual Fight Club episode?
So what are we gonna fight? We got to fight about something.
I would have dug into that last debate we had a little bit stronger if I'd known that.
Okay, so my plan for Fight Club is actually twofold. It's going to be both.
I can't have that argument though. Not with the problem is I can't have that fucking monogamy and non-monogamy argument without revealing personal information about other people that have not consented to having it revealed.
Well, I don't even. Here's the thing. I don't draw the. I don't care as much about monogamy versus polygamy as I do about just like waiting to have sex. Because there are examples of polygamy in the Bible. Just to be straight up, like
There's examples of.
I have a
rape, too.
question for you, Jacob. Actually,
what's that?
Do you think that like let's say in modest numbers, do you think that like 4 compared to like 7 or 8 is a big difference? If your wife is like your 4th or 5th or like your 7th or 8th?
8th, like sorry, 8th what?
Like partner. Like if you've slept
At
with
once?
like
Or like
No,
in like your history?
just in your history. Do you think it matters that much? Like once you've had multiple partners and you know that you're not going to marry any of them, do you think adding to that number is that big of a deal?
Yeah. Kind of. I don't know. I don't know if I could really quantify it, but yeah, I think the more you sleep around, like I mean, I don't know, maybe if put it this way, like if you hit like a really drastic number and it's like is 37 better than 40, like okay, maybe not, but I mean if
No,
we're
you gotta
talking
make
like
it count.
37 is
I mean
impressive.
so
I'm gonna have to make a list of names to count. So give me a second.
I might have a friend whose number is exactly 37, and I'm aware of that. But that's a whole other conversation.
I have
asked that.
friends who
Sorry,
are
go
in the
ahead,
triple
Jeff.
digits, so
Yeah, see, that's just I don't find that necessarily worth anything. So, Jacob, I asked that question because I started racking up numbers while I still believed in the same moral code that you do, and basically
Clearly not strong enough.
not strongly enough. Well, I was starting to walk away from it at the time. Actually, breaking up with the person I lost my virginity to is part of the reason I walked away from the faith the first time. We can talk about that some other time. But basically that was my reasoning. Once my number broke 3, I was like, well, what the fuck does it matter now? Like,
Oh, no, I don't.
What's
I
the
don't.
difference between like 3 and 7?
I don't
So
think.
might
I
as
don't think
well-
that that's the right way to look at it. So I mean, it's not about the number. It's just about the like I would never want to preach something where I think people should feel like a shame that leads to like a self-loathing or hatred. We're all sinners and we all make mistakes. I've made that mistake. I've had sex before marriage with people, not my wife. So I don't think that it's something to beat yourself up over. I think the way I talk about it is what there is to gain from limiting, at the very least, limiting your sexual partners. And I think the ideal to strive for is to find the one person you want to spend your life with, and to ideally have that special intimacy and physical relationship only with them. Does that come with sacrifices? Absolutely. But I think the sacrifices are worth it. I don't think that God would ask us to do things if there wasn't some kind of payoff. Doesn't mean that they're easy. I never claimed that they were easy, and if anyone reads the Bible seriously, God and Jesus never
Do
say
people
that.
do that?
People
I
do
thought the
what?
whole thing was just an allegory for drug use.
Some people do. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't, or a lot of people think they do, but they hyper focus on things that are taken out of context. But you know, I focus less on scaring people with the idea of hell or scaring people with, you know, shaming them for sin. You know, really, I think that if there's any room for people to feel shame for their sin, that comes internally from themselves or conviction from the Holy Spirit. I think my role is just to do my best in my life to model what I think is a good, godly, righteous life, and to demonstrate the fruits of that as being good and being something that are, you know, a life that's worth striving towards. And I have a, you know, wonderful relationship, a growing family that I'm incredibly blessed with. And yeah, I'm incredibly happy to come home and have my wife, have my partner who, you know, is that one person in my life who I get to share all these things with, who I can confide with, who, you know, is like my other half, and not in the sense that we're the same, but in the sense that we're so different, but our differences fit each other in a way that's just like increasingly, just like, it defines my life in a way that no other relationship does. And to me, it's just the benefits of that kind of relationship and of having that kind of special intimacy is just so worth it compared to just the idea of like, ooh, I'm going to get my rocks off a bunch of times. Like, to me, that's just fleeting. I've done that, and I found very little satisfaction in that. There was no long term. It was just like, oh, that was fun, and then it's just on to the next one, but no ultimate meaning, no long term happiness, and really after a while, I just you know, I think the higher the number count, I think I don't know, I think there is something, but you know, I don't believe in just materialism. I believe in a spiritual realm, and I think when you have that kind of physical intimacy with someone, anyone who denies an emotional or spiritual element to sex, I think is lying to themselves. And I think that
I will agree with you there.
the more that you do that with people, and the more people you do that with, I think that you are doing things to yourself mentally and spiritually that are really hard to define and quantify, but that are varying levels of bad for you.
Jacob, I have a question. Do you think Jesus had 12 disciples to represent the 12 shots that you would have to take in order to like accept Christ?
The 12, are these 12 communion shots, or is it?
Yeah, it's wine.
So the reason that I started geeking out is because I realized that you were going on that monologue. Meanwhile, Justin's literally counting his list.
Crazy part is, I'm like sitting here, like, I know I'm forgetting somebody. Who am I forgetting? And then it clicked with me with my ex-wife.
Oh my god!
like she was the one I couldn't put down.
All right, guys. Check out this awesome NFT that we're auctioning off tonight for the Tom Queter campaign. He's a great guy. He's rolling for state senate here in New York.
That's mildly offensive, but in all the right ways.
In all of the right ways. He's not a politician. He is a public servant. He will serve you just like he served me dinner last night, and it was wonderful. And also got me the cannabis that is getting me high tonight. So thank you, Thomas, for a wonderful birthday. And guys, go check out that great NFT made by the wonderful Justin O'Donnell over here to my left, right, whichever way you're looking at me.
I feel like this list is incomplete. Definitely forgetting something.
Yeah. Also, if you guys want to get stoned enough to actually finish watching this, go to nuggofknowledge.com. Use promo code F4L to get 10% off your first purchase. And get some great Delta-8 THC cartridges. Because, yeah, this is rough.
I'm kind of like enjoying not having any means of intoxication right now.
You heathen.
Yeah. Yeah, drugs are. I'm a part of the sober caucus now.
Well,
see, like I'm a big fan of.
I don't drink alcohol. Alcohol is evil.
My God, I think that there's like I said earlier, like I actually think even in a biblical sense there's value to recreational drugs, but I think there's also something about like doing the opposite, like, and I think that's where the benefits of fasting are, like to push yourself to like the outmost limits of being sober. And that's kind of what fasting does, is like to like remove everything, remove food, remove sugar, remove everything, where it's just like it's literally just you. Like there's nothing except like your existence and like the feeling of hunger that your body is giving you between you and reality. And there's something nice about being able to do both, have the contrast of reality filtered through substances and experiences filtered through substances versus reality filtered through the pursuit of like varying degrees of soberness.
I actually very much agree with you, and I love that you're open to the idea of the spirituality.
LSD is the reason I'm not an atheist anymore.
Yeah, the only thing holding me back from trying these things is that I don't want to try them alone. But like, there's nobody
come to Porkfest.
Come through, baby.
There's nobody around me that like does these things in the context I would want to do them.
Come to Porkfest.
Just, dude, I live like 30 minutes
That's
away.
true. You're
from
close enough to me. Yeah,
I'll
that's
just,
right. I always
I'll
forget.
Just,
I keep forgetting that you live close by to me. Like,
come to my apartment. You can trip with my roommate and I. It'll be great.
Please, I want to be there for that.
How did I forget Heather?
All right, I want to shout out two awesome people who have already donated to Queeter's campaign tonight during the stream. Ben Heckman, who's here, that wonderful dude with the goofy smile. Yeah, that one. And Elizabeth, who's an awesome volunteer on the campaign, who unfortunately could not join us on the stream, but who's still a great human and a wonderful person. And thank you guys for donating. If you haven't already and you're still watching and you want to help out, tomfor52.com/donate.
There's so many
FOR52.com.
There's so many women's phone numbers in my phone who I can't remember who they are. Like,
Justin,
just start texting really cool. Each of them one by one. Be like, sorry, long time no talk, but have we slept together? And just go through them all and come back to us with a tally.
I would put money on the fact that would actually get you laid.
Maybe.
Hairdressers.
Who's Colleen?
Hairdressers are crazy.
Oh. David, you said in the tweet that Jo Jorgensen might be coming on. So when is she coming on? I'm going to ask her about the Alan Dershowitz shit.
I'm going to tower her in the comments.
said might. Yeah. Remember.
Yeah.
Not after this.
No. Jesus. She might never come on my show ever because of this.
You should try and get Marianne Williamson. I'll send you her email address.
Can you?
If anyone could do it, it'd be you, David.
Yeah, she told me and Reed to go fuck ourselves.
So there is a thing. I got my ass burned by a large swath of people this year. However, I did maintain a certain level of like neutrality, and therefore there are a number of people who don't love me, but they trust me and don't trust you or Reed or actually anybody else on the. God damn, I'm in like a Mises like gangbang right now. I'm just surrounded by you motherfuckers.
Yep. I still actually have to renew my donation, my membership.
You know what? I'm gonna talk a little bit of shit on the Mises Caucus real quick.
I'll probably back
at the New York State Convention. I signed up for the New York State Mises Caucus. I signed their little sheet. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to sign their little sheet and see what happens. And I have not gotten a call, text, email, nothing.
Because you were in the Fakertarians podcast.
See, that's why you come to Nevada, David.
But you're moving.
In a year, maybe.
Well, that's fair.
I think they just see you as an infiltrator, David.
I still have to finish school first.
Dave's problem is that like he's I have like the same kind of autistic trait that he has, where it's just like you intrinsically have to pick fights. I have learned to discipline myself though, and Dave, as seemingly over the past year, like you've gotten like more undisciplined. It's like,
and what are you talking about? I barely picked any of these fights. Like a few of them.
There's a girl in my phone. Her name in my phone is just "girl with red heels."
Nice.
Were
they pointed up or down?
Here's the thing, they, at some point though, when you keep responding to things and you keep on making them worse,
there's a reason that the
fight.
Fakertarians are blocked on every social media platform.
Here's the thing:
and I left the group.
The Fakertarians have done more damage to the libertarian brand than anybody the Fakertarians have tried to call out, simply because the handful of people who are actually bad that they call out, they've amplified far beyond their original reach.
Gosh, I've made this fucking point so many times to them, and it's like, you know what, like nobody would even know or care that Dave Smith has ever talked nicely to Nick Fuentes, except that Fakertarians has said it a million times, and nobody would know about the stupid article that Lou Rockwell wrote about the Mighty Ducks 2.
Okay, but that shit's funny as
that is kind of funny, but I mean, it's like,
yo, did you guys see the Murray Rothbard article about Star Wars though?
No.
What? No, I have not.
Murray
Sounds like essential
Rothbard
reading.
Wrote a scathing review of Star Wars: A New Hope about how terrible and pointless and pathetic and horrible, and how like he basically called Luke Skywalker a beta male.
To be honest, if you watched New Hope and that's all there ever was, I can kind of see that. Like we always remember, like we are unfortunately unable to view these movies as like independent entries because we look at them as part of a whole. But when you start evaluating the movies as individual movies, a lot of them don't hold up very well. Like, here's the thing.
You know what?
I'm going to be very blast. I'm going to be. No, it doesn't. No, it
Yes,
doesn't.
it does.
New Hope is very hokey, and
yet Empire was groundbreaking.
Thank you.
Okay.
No, I'm going to go worse. Empire is actually the worst of the original trilogy.
What?
Whoa.
It's the worst.
You're just being like a contrarian at that point.
No.
What?
Here's the thing. Empire
You can't
is
justify
not.
Okay, so there's a difference between having an opinion about a movie that might be a negative opinion about a movie that maybe doesn't hold up or something, whatever. And maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, who gives a fuck? However, there's a difference between having that opinion and then writing a fucking news article and then self-publishing it, like trashing that movie. Like I've watched a lot of movies in my lifetime that I didn't like. I didn't write an article about how bad they were. No one follows Murray Rothbard for his fucking movie reviews. Same with Lou Rockwell.
Yeah, I kind of want to now.
Yeah, me too. See, I wouldn't have known about the movie review if you didn't talk about it, David.
You know what's funny is I don't know if you guys ever watched Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
But it was funny because like there was I'm rewatching it with my wife, and there was this episode where I'm trying to remember the context, but like someone's just like saying something to Andy about like places to travel or whatever, and they're like Europe, and he gives a reason why he doesn't want to go to Europe, and then they're like Iceland. Is like, no, it's the bad guys from Mighty Ducks 2. And I just lost it, and my wife doesn't understand why I was just laughing so hard about why, like, it's like, it's like, why is this so funny? I think you said that the white people from Iceland are the bad guys. I was like, it's the Lou Rockwell article. I couldn't stop laughing. My wife's just like, okay, freak.
All right, so since we're bringing up race, we had a question. Has the Fakertarians ever had a guest on the show who wasn't white?
I don't think so.
Yes.
Have they ever
had a guest on their show that they were a fan of, not somebody they were trying to debate in
they had Nick Sarwark
combat, who has ever done manual labor?
Oh.
I've done manual labor. I mean, they
They
had me
were
on.
a fan of me when they
They've
had
never been
me
a fan
on.
of me though.
No, because I like one day like months ago.
And
like,
Nick's
before-
artwork trying to
like,
cut down a tree doesn't count.
No, like one day I was just having a discussion with just someone I know on through Yal. We brought Vegetarians. I looked through their like playlist, and I'm pretty sure every guest was white.
Probably. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
One of their guests is a cat, though. I mean, that's pretty.
That's not real. Well, Nick Fuentes
exclusive.
was.
A white cat.
Transcends
A
race.
white cat. But it's funny.
Can we assume people's
Yeah, it's
races,
funny,
though?
it's
I
funny they
mean,
talk about-
who are we to define people's races just by their base appearance of their skin tone? I mean,
Who would have thought that the Christian was the one that was going to get me
All right,
canceled?
all right. It's 33. I had to go through my phone contacts for that one.
The final number. No, race is a social construct, and
I seriously don't understand how anyone who seriously buys into the idea of gender abolition or gender being on a spectrum and and being something that is personal and that you can, it isn't intrinsically and deterministically tied to biological sex, why that does not apply to race. Like, I have not heard a consistent argument for why you can have a gender spectrum and people self-identify as they please, but when it comes to race or ethnicity, this suddenly is unacceptable.
I think there's
Rachel Dolezal had a documentary on Netflix. She identified as black and called herself transracial.
Yeah, and a lot of
let me be clear. I think transracial is a dumb idea. I just also think that the idea that I just disagree with the idea that gender is completely untied to anything in biology, and that it's just completely are there elements of gender that are socially constructed? Like, yes, because there's anything that involves humans has elements of social constructions built into them. But to say that gender is completely disconnected from biological sex, to me makes no sense, especially because transgender people, for them, it's very much pertaining to their biological sex because they feel like in the wrong sex, and that's why many of them go through the transition to correct this, because and they don't just but then I don't know. It's like the ideology I don't even see consistency in it.
Can we talk about the disparity in outcome of transgender reassignment, though? Like, how are we at the stage where Blair White and fucking the Kardashians' dad? What's his name? Her name.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Caitlyn Jenner. How are we at the stage in medical technology where the result is anywhere between Blair White and Caitlyn Jenner? Like, you can get a fucking bombshell or a train wreck to come out of that transition.
Well, it really depends on when that person started taking hormone therapy and going through that. Like, the earlier you start taking hormone therapy, the more likely it is that whatever surgery you go through or transition you go through is going to result in you looking like the gender you identify with. If you start taking hormone therapy when you're 20, then you're going to look
right.
very
But that's my point. The statement you just made is to look like the gender you identify with. If gender is completely disconnected from biology, how can there be any characteristics of what a gender looks like?
Well, because society demonstrably has characteristics almost set in stone of what different genders mean, and that's kind of how we know gender is not tied to biology in any way, because throughout different societies for thousands of years, gender has met vastly.
I'm pretty sure in every society,
I got a hill
men
to
have had
die on here,
penises
too.
and women have had vaginas.
I got a fucking hill to die on here with the fucking woke left and the fucking fakertarian types. I am all for calling somebody by their preferred pronoun. It's no fucking skin.
Oh,
off
I am
my
too.
back. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. However, if you get mad at me for misgendering you because I failed to perceive you as the gender by which you identify, it means you have failed to portray yourself as that gender, which means the only person you have to blame for you being misgendered is yourself.
Yeah.
No, I actually agree with I use trans people's pronouns, but the reason I do is probably offensive to some of them, which is that I view transgenderism and the whole gender movement on the left as basically a quasi-religion, and I just view using their pronouns as respecting their religion in the same way that I expect people not to be a douchebag to me while I'm like praying over my food before I eat it. Like if I'm praying over my food and like somebody just comes up and is just like, your God isn't real, like that might be a bit of a dick move. Just like if somebody prefers to use their pronouns and
family friendly, lots of drugs.
I'm going to tell you
sex,
your God isn't
and
real.
Your God isn't real.
Hey, I have seen all of those like come to like a like meeting point, like where like those Utah meets other states in the corner where like 4 different worlds just collide in the middle of the night at Porkfest once, where like a church service was getting out and people were like going around for like the church while the pagans across the alleyway were having their like solstice ceremony, and me and some friends were stumbling down the hill rolling on MDMA and got into a fight with the church group, and the pagans were trying to be peacekeepers, and then a little kid who's like 6 years old, but it's like 2 a.m, a like 6-year-old kid with a wagon walks up to us and says, "Hey adults, are you guys fucked up? You need water? $1. And settled the argument between all the adults by selling us water for $1.
That 6-year-old is the hero we need, but not the one we deserve.
Yeah. Right. He then introduced us to his mother, who introduced herself as the drug fairy and sold us more drugs.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Got to love it.
The drug fairy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now he's older, and at Porkfest he runs a delivery service. It's great. He scoots around on his little hoverboard delivering breakfast to people in the morning.
All right. Are there any other groups of people I need to piss off before I go?
Well, I mean, do you want to get canceled?
I don't know. I think I'm pretty uncancelable, but
have you gone after Tappy yet?
All right, we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna wrap up just the 3 of us. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
What's up?
Oh my gosh. It is just after midnight though, so it is no longer my birthday. We have raised some decent amount of monies for Tom Queter. Thank you all, Ben, Liz, William, and others who have donated. We're going to keep auctioning off this NFT for some amount of time. Justin and I will have to figure out how that works because I don't know how that works.
Oh wait, shit.
Things, crypto, blockchain, money, Doge to the moon. Yeah. All right.
I don't think anybody placed a bid.
Okay.
No,
look at this.
I'll donate. I'll donate later tonight or something. I haven't had a chance to look at it.
I mean, it's.
I leaked the screenshot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, where I am, so I'm gonna make a donation once this is wrapped up.
You guys are the best. Thank you so much for helping me celebrate my birthday. This was awesome. Or a train wreck, depending on who you ask.
I don't. For me, this is a welcome break because I'm in the middle of like. Long story short, there's this group of students on my campus trying to bring back the vaccine mandates for in Nevada, and I'm trying to like organize a resistance against that. And there's a meeting tomorrow that's going to determine that.
Have you considered telling them to just fuck themselves?
With a barbed dildo.
I mean,
this isn't Twitter, Justin. This is real life.
Yeah.
It's so much more satisfying when you do it in real life.
I mean, it's satisfying, yes, but effective, maybe not. But I don't know. I was just getting to come on here and just take a break from that. But I do got to work on my public comment for tomorrow.
Well,
maybe,
enjoy that.
Maybe I should just say, go fuck yourself.
I've done it before in public comment.
I mean, there's enough people making public comments, but no. So 2 nights ago, I was half asleep, middle of the night. I get a notification saying there's from my campus's Reddit saying there's someone trying to bring back mandates. So I read through it and I thought, oh, 3 nights. I better start staging and like no one knows about it. So I'm trying to organize people, get them together. So
tell them you're going to invite Kyle Rittenhouse.
Ooh, Yeah, I'll tell him if they. I'll tell him if
He's
they,
gonna have to cross a lot of state lines to do that, though.
He might be 12 shots in by the time he gets there.
I mean, I'm not
Right now, he's only 3.
I mean, I wouldn't mind coming to UNLV, honestly. I mean, we're not that far from ASU.
No, there was 100 shots and he killed 200 black people.
Look, I think the biggest achievement of this entire stream has been cheapening the 12 shots joke entirely. We've ran that bitch into the ground. It's
so
done.
far. I'm gonna have Tommy just clip every 12 shots reference from this episode into one
compilation.
Wonderful thing, and it's gonna be the intro for the next Fight Club episode.
There was 3 shots. He killed a pedophile and a wife beater and shot 2 Jews.
That last part's the best part, though.
Like, I saw somebody trying to make an argument that he was the second coming of the Messiah because he was like putting the Jews in their place.
Oh my god.
Where? Right, guys, and with that, we're gonna wrap up here.
No, but
I
haven't donated to Queen's campaign.
I didn't watch that episode of whatever Nick Fuentes' show is.
Think about the odds.
Think
about how are the odds of this work? If you were to shoot 3 rounds into a crowd of people, that you would randomly hit 2 pedophiles.
I mean,
all right, bye.
Yeah.
Only.
Shut up and sit down.